big events being in town. Atlanta police out with their plan to keep holiday weekend crowds safe.
APD has two fronts to protect the more vulnerable tens of thousands of runners in the AJC Peachtree 10K. Deputy Chief Kelly Collier says a new tactic should stop a car from plowing into participants.
We're deploying hundreds of vehicle barriers throughout the racetrack.
Also watching for trouble, officers undercover in a way you might not guess.
Officers running in the actual race.
At the command center, officers monitoring nearly 5,000 cameras, and in the air, helicopters and drones. At Atlanta Police Headquarters, Steve Summers, 95.5 WSB.
And it appears the weather's going to cooperate. Mostly sunny, low humidity today, highs around 91. How about the weather for the long holiday weekend and beyond? WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards will have Atlanta Radio's only 5-day forecast that comes your way at 12:05. Speaking of weather here, not bad, but if you go elsewhere, other parts of the country, it could impact your travel plans. Rob Marciano has details on that.
A massive chunk of the Northeast is going to be the target zone for the thunderstorms that could create some damaging winds and some hail, and that includes places like Philadelphia, New York City, up through Albany, Burlington, all the way up through northern New England. And the timing of this is like 5 to 9 o'clock tonight.
And he says if you're headed south to the beaches, there'll be lots of rain in the Tampa, Orlando, and Fort Myers area. In a bizarre turn of events, Marietta police say today that alleged shoplifting victims are now robbery suspects. Police say the owner of a liquor store on Franklin Gateway and a friend held a man at gunpoint after reporting that he had shoplifted from the store. The two took turns searching the man's car. They now face a number of charges, including aggravated assault, armed robbery, and kidnapping. Happening now, Democrats attempting to delay a final vote on President Trump's big, beautiful bill. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries has been speaking on the House floor for about 7 hours now, taking advantage of the unlimited speaking time allotted to party leaders. Republicans worked through the night to get the members of their own party to vote for the measure. House Speaker Mike Johnson saying Republicans are excited to pass the bill, adding, if Hakeem would stop talking.
I feel the obligation, Mr. Speaker, to stand on this House floor and take my sweet time to tell the stories of the American people.
Now, President Trump will be at the Iowa State Fairgrounds later today, where he is hoping to celebrate the bill's passage. We'll be watching. The Supreme Court has agreed to review a case on transgender students' participation in school sports. The justice is saying today that they will review lower court rulings in favor of transgender athletes in Idaho and West Virginia. Now, this case highlights a broader national debate over transgender rights. Legal expert Jessica Levinson.
This is going to be a really important case because it will tell us what states have the power to do, and a really important case because it will tell us about the reach of the Equal Protection Clause when it comes to transgender individuals.
And more than 24 states, including Georgia, enacted laws restricting transgender women and girls from taking part in certain sports. Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger announcing a multi-phase audit of Georgia's voter rolls.
We want to make sure that we have the cleanest voter list in the entire country like we do right now.
He says the first phase will include mailing to verify addresses. The audit will include a comparison of the data from the United States Postal Service to identify voters who may have moved, as well as data from other states' voter list and the Department of Driver Services. The audit expected to take about 3 months. And the monthly jobs report is showing stronger than expected hiring, 147,000 new net jobs, and the unemployment rate dropped a notch to 4.1%. Let's take a look at the markets right now. The Dow's up 344 at 44,829. NASDAQ is also in positive territory. It's up more than a full percent, and the S&P's up almost a full percent here on your lunch hour. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams is joining us now from the WSB 24-hour traffic center. Is it getting busy?
It is with the holiday travel. The good news is, though, Sabrina, the DOT has officially, starting this hour, suspended all of the metro area road work to help alleviate some of the pressure on the interstate, so you won't see any of the big barrels out there blocking lanes for construction. That is good news. On the south side, 75 southbound slowing into Stockbridge, and downtown, I'm seeing brake lights both ways between Midtown and Highway 166 Langford Parkway. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
It's time now for Atlanta Radio's only 5-day forecast, sponsored here at noon by Shoemate, the official air conditioning of Atlanta. Here's WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards.
Sunny skies through the afternoon, high 91, low humidity for tonight, so temperatures will drop to the upper 60s to low 70s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, high 93, sunset around 9 o'clock tomorrow evening, and temperatures will be in the low 80s at that time, cooling into the low 70s for Saturday morning. Saturday afternoon, mostly sunny, high 92. Sunday and Monday, partly cloudy skies, morning lows in the low 70s, daytime highs in the low 90s. Rain chances won't return until the middle of next week.
84 degrees right now in Villa Rica. Dunwoody has 84, and it's 84 degrees here in Midtown Atlanta. We'll have more news at 12:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
It's WSB's $1,000 Thursday. Your chance to win $1,000 every hour today until 4 p.m. The 12 o'clock keyword is party. That's party, P-A-R-T-Y. Go to WSBradio.com or the WSB Radio app and enter the keyword party for your chance to win. You have until 12:59 to enter. Good luck. Breaking news here out of the gate. Welcome. It's Erick Erickson. The vote. We got a big, beautiful bill act done. You know, I said when this thing started that I was not going to call it the Big Beautiful Bill because I just thought it was silly, and then they named it the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, so here I am having to refer to it by its name. Well, the president is announcing a 9 a.m. signing ceremony at the White House tomorrow, July 4th. To get this thing done. Welcome, everybody. It's Erick Erickson here across the nation. The phone number, I can't give it to you because everybody's gone. The call screener's gone. So it's Vincent and me here today doing the show. And but we got a lot of news. We got jobs numbers. We'll get into the jobs numbers next hour. Jobs numbers way better than people were expecting. And, well, now you got the stability of a tax plan. Mike Johnson, Magic Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House from Louisiana, pulling an all-nighter in the House of Representatives. People were literally falling asleep on the floor of the House last night. They kept a vote open for 12 hours. This was Johnson last night calling in on the phone to Sean Hannity about keeping the vote open, the vote on the rules. I'll get to that here in a minute, but just listen.
Are you just going to keep it open as long as it takes?
Well, I'll keep it open as long as it takes to make sure we've got everybody here and accounted for and all the questions answered. I've made that commitment to my members. You know, we're in an era of Congress where we have small margins, small majorities, and that makes it by necessity a bottom-up institution. You know, it's not a couple leaders in a back room like the old days where, you know, 2 or 3 people decide the agenda and it's hoisted upon everyone else and they take orders and follow. It really is a fully participatory deliberative body, and that means bottom-up, member-driven process. I've tried to decentralize the power of the Speaker's office so much as that is possible in our system, and I think people appreciate that. They all know their voices were heard in this, and remember, we put about 14 months of work into the production of the One Big Beautiful Bill. So a lot of time, a lot of deliberation, a lot of committee hearings and meetings, and everybody's got their voice heard, and I think it's really important.
I gotta say, so it's my buddy Joe Cunningham at KPEL down in Lafayette, Louisiana, who coined the term Magic Mike. I'll give him credit, begrudgingly. I'm just mad I didn't think of it. He pulls rabbits out of hats, and so many people have been so convinced that this wouldn't happen, couldn't happen, was impossible to happen. Hakeem Jeffries just wanted to talk, and Magic Mike Johnson manages to get stuff done. Now, Andy Harris is a member of the House Appropriations Committee. He's the House Freedom Caucus chairman, and the left is attacking him for this soundbite. I want to play for you. This is from Newsmax. I want to play for you this audio of Andy Harris. I want you to hear what he's saying and understand he's getting attacked from the left.
Be a big thing. This is what all the left media is talking about. Can you? Because some people are questioning, you know, will people get their Medicaid, will it go away?
Well, look, if you're on traditional Medicaid, you know, you're disabled, you're elderly, you're pregnant, you're a child, you're not going to get anything taken away. Look, if you're able-bodied without dependents and you choose not to work, well, you shouldn't be on a public welfare program. That's the bottom line. If you're one of the 1.4 million illegal immigrants who are here, who are on Medicaid, you shouldn't be getting it. The bottom line is these are all counted in the CBO estimates. Again, you're an able-bodied person, you choose not to work, you should be off the public dole. Yes, you will lose your Medicaid coverage. Get a job and get coverage through a job if necessary, or sign up for Obamacare. You still have Obamacare as a backdrop for a lot of these individuals. So, again, these numbers are highly inflated. No one who the core Medicaid program was designed for, that is the disabled, the elderly, pregnant women, children, none of them are going to lose their coverage under any of these plans.
Nope. And if you do, it's because...
Look, why is that controversial? The fact that people on the left think that is controversial, think that is bad, blows my mind. If you're able-bodied without dependents and you choose not to work, well, you shouldn't be on a public welfare program. That's the bottom line. You should be off the public dole. Yes, you will lose your Medicaid coverage. Get a job. The fact that the left thinks this is controversial tells you how far out to lunch the left is. It's ridiculous to me that we are in a situation where the left thinks that just anybody who wants to be on welfare should be on welfare. By the way, when we at the bottom of the hour, I'll get into this on welfare and illegal immigration and the like, but it's just absolutely absurd to me that people are offended by this. The remarkable thing here is honestly the number of people who have stood up and fought to improve the legislation, and they were able to do it. And I want to call out my friend Chip Roy, who gets battered by people. Well, of course, he said no. He was going to fight. He wasn't going to vote. And now he's caving. Of course, he's caving. Yeah, you know why Chip Roy is caving? Why he's doing this? Because they made concessions to Chip Roy. They made concessions. Lisa Murkowski in the United States Senate was able to carve out exceptions for Alaska that don't benefit the rest of the nation. Chip Roy from Texas fought for common sense reforms that will benefit the entire country. The Speaker of the House is already announcing another reconciliation package with members of the Senate agreeing that they've got to take the fiscal mess seriously. In fact, there's a story from Barron's today that the U.S. debt is worrying financial markets. The concerns have been visible as bond yields have climbed, an indicator that investors are worried about the sustainability of debt of the world's top economy. Those concerns have affected the dollar, which is the global reserve currency, usually has been seen as a safe haven currency. Foreigners have been purchasing the dollar. If they want to buy bonds, the U.S. dollar lost more than 10% during the first half of the year, its worst performance in 1973. There are real concerns about the spending. And contrary to the claims of many of the people you're going to hear about today, this doesn't actually solve our debt and deficit problem. It does actually make it worse. It does. And the reality is we're going to head to a fiscal crisis if we don't get something fixed. But at the same time, I don't like the legislation, but it had to get done. It is the president's agenda. The president wants to keep his promises. And I do think that if Republicans get out there and they say, hey, no tax on tips, promise made, promise kept. No tax on overtime, promise made, promise kept. No tax on Social Security, promise made, promise kept. Not really, but it's gone from 65% of the elderly won't pay Social Security tax to 85% won't pay Social Security tax. Promise made, promise kept by and large. They had to do this because the president needed to get it done. They had to do this because the markets needed it done. The markets need the stability. The markets don't want to see tax increases next year. And frankly, the free market wanted to see that Republicans could actually legislate. They wanted to see that. They wanted to see Republicans could get something big done. And a lot of people counted him out. A lot of people said it wasn't going to happen. Mike Johnson keeps bringing people together to do these things. In large part, I was explaining, I was talking to my buddy Scott Inez on WDBA this morning, also working today, for the record, also working. I was telling Scott Inez that the real deal here is that Mike Johnson, a lot of people, they're never going to like the Republican Speaker of the House. Republicans are never going to like him because of the compromise he has to make. But the Republican Speaker is a backbench, ardent conservative. He's the most conservative Speaker of the House we've had. He's a social conservative. He is a fiscal conservative, but he's a social conservative. First, primarily social conservative Speaker of the House in the United States ever. Think about that. And so the conservative backbenchers, they grumble about him, but they trust him because they know he's one of them in principle. And the moderates actually trust him because he's a pretty committed Christian. He tries not to lie to them. So he can't get everything done, but he tries his best to get everything done. And he's able to get stuff done. He's able to get stuff done. Now, close vote, obviously. Close vote. But Mike Johnson is able to get stuff done. The president is ready for a signing ceremony at the White House tomorrow morning. The markets are going to get stability from this. They're going to be able to project their taxable income over the next number of years. No tax on tips for people who make under $180,000 a year. Combined income, that's dual earners. It's less for single income. Gamblers are upset because it turns out, looks like there are provisions in here about gambling. They're going to have to use another reconciliation package if they want to get it out. The big tech companies are upset because they pulled the provision about state regulation of AI. So now states will be able to regulate AI. That's going to make California more powerful. It is a deeply flawed bill. There's a lot of stuff in there a lot of people wanted. But for the House guys, by the way, to complain about the Senate parliamentarian and say that the Republicans of the Senate didn't stand up to the Senate parliamentarian. But, I mean, the House guys, they got their own problems. The House bill was better, but it had to go to the Senate. It had to go through the Senate process. They knew going into this that the Senate had a process the Senate had to undertake, and you got to comply with the Senate rules. The Senate parliamentarian, I hear everybody complaining about the Senate parliamentarian. Why not overrule the Senate parliamentarian? Well, the majority of the Republicans in the Senate didn't want to overrule the Senate parliamentarian, and I said, you get rid of you overrule the Senate parliamentarian on stuff that she says are policy decisions, not budget decisions. Good luck when the Democrats decide, you know what, we're going to raise taxes on guns 500%. We're going to tax ammunition at 200%. Good luck when the Senate Democrats decide to put a ban on rifles and shotguns in the legislature, when they decide to do another assault weapons ban. The assault weapons ban, perfectly constitutional. If you start overruling the Senate parliamentarian because you want your preferences in there, the Democrats are going to do the same. And don't tell me, man, they're going to do it anyway, because they haven't done it yet. They haven't done it. They wanted to do it on amnesty, and they didn't do it. They wanted to do it on the minimum wage, and they didn't do it. They wanted to do it on taxes on guns, and they didn't overrule her. So all these things you say, well, they're going to overrule her on, they haven't. They haven't. They tried them. She ruled against them, and they haven't. So stop giving me the nightmare scenarios and telling me the Democrats will do something that the Democrats haven't done before when they get back power, when the Democrats were there and tried to do the things you say they're going to do, and she ruled against them and they didn't do it. The Senate process is a convoluted process. It drives everybody crazy, but it's the process. And you got to shape the legislation to that process. And the fact that the House Republicans didn't shape it to that process, they just wanted to make the Senate the bad guys because the House hates the Senate and the Senate hates the House. And guess what? Because the Senate process is designed for the Senate, the legislation reconciliation always has to be shaped for the Senate, not for the House. And if you're in the House, you got to know that. And the fact that the House guys bellyached about it, it doesn't really give me a lot of sympathy for the House. They had to shape it to get it through the Senate under reconciliation to bypass the filibuster.
Those who love him, listen to find out what he's going to say next. Those who disagree with him, also listen to see what he's going to say next. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
1220 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Still seeing that holiday travel on the south side, 75 north and southbound, on and off the brakes in both directions between Stockbridge and Locust Grove. Be mindful of that. Express lanes are pointed southbound. If you're traveling 85 north out of DeKalb toward Gwinnett County, you're also seeing a brief slow tap of the brakes passing Jimmy Carter Boulevard, exit 99 in Norcross. Luckily, no crashes in the way. Some southbound volume out of Duluth, and checking on a new slow spot, 85 northbound, heading up towards Suwanee before Highway 317. Traffic brought to you by your neighborhood Kroger Pharmacy. Kroger Pharmacy welcomes Express Scripts, Medicare D, and TRICARE Department of Defense plan members. You can transfer prescriptions at Kroger.com/payer update. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
It's WSB's $1,000 Thursday. Your chance to win $1,000 every hour today until 4 p.m. The 12 o'clock keyword is party. That's party, P-A-R-T-Y. Go to WSBradio.com or the WSB Radio app and enter the keyword party for your chance to win. You have until 12:59 to enter. Good luck.
Take your summer celebration to the next level with a Bullfrog hot tub from Brown's Pools and Spas. Entertain and enjoy your yard with your family like never before. Only Bullfrog offers the Jetpack Therapy System, allowing you to customize each seat to fit every body in your family. Shop our Independence Day hot tub sale now. Instant rebates up to $1,500 or special financing for up to 120 months. Offer ends July 7th. Celebrating over 50 years of BrownsPools.com.
The guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate is the easiest way to sell your home. Now you can save time and make the most money and eliminate all hassles this summer. Go to markspain.com, find out what your guaranteed offer would be, and start packing.
At Shane Company, we've been engagement ring experts for almost 100 years. We have the largest selection of diamonds and gemstones in stock. You don't have to wait to compare them side by side. Find the one that speaks to you at shaneco.com or in store. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Hey, y'all, it's Eric Erickson here. Do you know the difference between strategy and tactics? As somebody who ran campaigns, I always find people sometimes they engage in tactics. We steer the ship left and then right, starboard, port, left, right, slow down, speed up. But do you make sense of it? The strategy is the overall picture of how you want to accomplish your goal. And then the tactics are the individual things you do to accomplish the strategy to meet your goal. And when you're dealing with your retirement, you need a financial advisor who understands that. That's David Nicholas, Nicholas Wealth Management. My wife and I actually sat down with David and mapped out our goals for the future and our retirement and realized that we had engaged in a series of tactics, but we really didn't have a comprehensive overall strategy that made it work. You want a comprehensive overall strategy so that when you hit retirement, well, you've met your goals. And David Nicholas can help you do that. You sit down with David today, and he can give you a free wealth analysis. Christy and I did this with him. You can do this with him, and you're going to get a strategy. You're not just going to have a financial advisor who's deploying a bunch of tactics without the overall strategy to get you to meet your goal. Talk to David and his team at nicholaswealth.com. Call them at 678-990-8500. That's 678-990-8500 or nicholaswealth.com.
Nicholas Wealth Management is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. This is prepared for informational purposes only. It does not address specific investment objectives or the financial situation and particular needs of any person who listens to this show. Eric Erickson is a current client and is paid for this ad.
One of the biggest repairs on your biggest investment would be the foundation on your home. Mark Beckham here with Atlanta Ramjack. Other companies offer many different services and then try to upsell their customers something they don't even need. That's not what Atlanta Ramjack does. Foundation repair is all we do. We send only the most trained experts in the field and give you the best materials and an honest appraisal of what your real problem is, not more than what you need. Schedule your free estimate today at atlantaramjack.com.
I've found your next go-to service team for Porsche, Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Audi. It's Wolf Pen European Auto Repair in Roswell. Honest pricing with certified factory techs who won't run up the tab with repairs you don't need. See the difference when you search Wolf Pen Auto Repair.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB. Live from the Superior Plumbing. Don't be late because you crowdsourced your commute with a navigation app.
This might become a travel advisory. Yeah, they're in 2 left lanes.
Depend on us.
See some delays if they shut that ramp down.
Make sure you get where you need to be on time.
Jam starting at Langford Parkway, getting past Spring Street.
Local and dependable traffic 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
We had a lot going on this morning through Henry County.
WSB Triple Team Traffic.
95.5 WSB. How Atlanta gets there. He may not tell you what you want to hear, but he tells you what you need to hear. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
Part of the humor of this whole legislation, honestly, is that nobody really knows what everything is in it. Like they found that gambling provision that actually drives up some costs and fees on gamblers. This is it from Bloomberg. Gamblers are raising the alarm about a $1.1 billion tax hike buried in the Senate GOP tax bill. In the Senate's version of Trump's multi-billion-dollar tax bill, gamblers would only be able to deduct 90% of their losses when calculating their net income. Under current law, a bettor can deduct the entirety of their losses up until the amount of their gambling winnings. I've spoken to clients, and they're very concerned. Professional gamblers are complaining about it. Well, it's in there, but you know what else is in there? Listen, if you're a senior citizen, listen to this. The One Big Beautiful Bill Act features a new tax break for older Americans who pay taxes on Social Security income. There's a significant catch. Both the House and Senate bills include an increased tax deduction for tax filers age 64 and older. In the Senate version, the new deduction is $6,000 for individuals, $12,000 for couples. The deduction starts phasing out for those who earn over $75,000, $150,000 for couples, and phase out completely at $175,000 for individuals, $250,000 for couples in the Senate version. The break expires in 2028 when Trump leaves office, as do a few other White House priorities in the bill, including no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on auto loan interest, which is in the legislation. This amount to the largest tax break in American history for our nation's senior citizens, says a report by the White House Council of Economic Advisors. Yes, but most seniors, 64% of them, don't pay taxes on Social Security. Those who can't afford the taxes already don't pay. This break targets most, but not all of the rest. It dates it from 64% to 85%. For those upper middle class folks who pay taxes on retirement benefits, it's a substantial tax break, says Mark Goldwyn, Senior Policy Director for the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget, a nonpartisan group. The bill would accelerate Social Security and Medicare insolvency by a year to 2032, says one analysis. The bottom line, though, is that senior citizens are going to get a sizable tax break on retirement earnings in this legislation, and I suspect they're going to like their sizable earnings in the legislation, sizable tax break. Again, you got to keep in mind, I didn't realize the auto loan interest provision made it in there, but it did. And the no interest, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security. It's all there. They kept the president's promises, and the Republicans now have opportunities to go sell this legislation. And when Democrats attack about cuts to Medicaid, the Republicans say, we're not cutting people on Medicaid who need it. We're cutting the people who don't need it and are on Medicaid. I think most Americans can distinguish that. I think most Americans will distinguish that. And I think that matters a great deal. Now, one of the groups that has played a large role in getting everything across the finish line is Americans for Prosperity. They are the largest leading grassroots group in the country, and they happen to be conservatives. They happen to advance common sense conservative solutions. They've been fighting for the president's tax plan. They have mobilized hundreds of thousands of people, not just to call Congress, but to actually show up in Washington and knock on the doors of their members of Congress to get them to get it passed. They would love for you to be part of their army of activists around the country. If you go to AmericansForProsperity.org, you can sign up today. AmericansForProsperity.org. I'm on their board of advisors. We do great events around the country. They really know how to get conservatives activated in communities, but also just educated. Let's say you don't want to be the door knocker. You don't want to be the activist. You just want to be engaged in the process and understand what's going on. You can do that too, down to the local level. They advance common sense conservative solutions for families, individuals, and small businesses. It is AmericansForProsperity.org. They played a big role in getting this done. AmericansForProsperity.org. Go sign up with AFP today.
Coming up in the Thursday edition of Atlanta's Morning News from 5 to 9 as we get ready for the Independence Day weekend. Christina Edwards' 5-day forecast help you make outdoor plans. You can depend on the traffic team to get you around any major issues on the roads. We'll hear from Washington, D.C. on the hotly contested spending package, how Clark Howard saves on his vacation bookings, and Scott Slade takes a closer look at the new laws that have taken effect this week in Georgia. When you wake up later this morning, join us for Atlanta's Morning News for traffic and weather every 6 minutes before you leave home.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 12:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Jim Ellis Automotive. This hour, the Georgia Department of Transportation suspending construction-related lane closures as holiday travel is shifting into high gear. The Georgia DOT's Natalie Dale says it's getting busy out there.
Not only is it people who live in Georgia traveling through Georgia, but also those who are traveling through Georgia to get somewhere else, like Florida or South Carolina.
She urges you to drive carefully. Crashes and fatalities, she says, tend to peak during the 4th of July holiday. Mostly sunny, low humidity, and a high of 91 this afternoon. Happening right now, Democrats doing all they can to stall a vote in the House on the president's so-called big, beautiful bill. On the floor of the House, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries has been talking for hours, repeating what he said not long after he started speaking in opposition to the massive spending bill.
I'm here to take my sweet time on behalf of the American people.
And he's been doing that. House rules give unlimited time to leaders to speak, the so-called magic minute, ahead of a final vote on a bill. That vote expected today. President Trump had said he wanted the spending bill on his desk before July 4th. That is tomorrow. Fewer kids and teenagers are eating fast food, according to the CDC. The average American aged 2 to 19 gets 11.4% of calories from fast food. A decade ago, it was 14%.
Fast food is a great source for salt, sugar, fat. These are the key causes of high blood pressure, diabetes, and high cholesterol,
which Dr. Darian Sutton says are major contributors to America's #1 killer, heart disease. It's 12:32.
Summer's a time to feel and look your best, but I'm not talking about your abs or your tan. Hey guys, it's Mark Aram here. I'm talking about your hair. Restore that bald spot, reverse your receding hairline, or add volume to thinning during Advanced Hair's once yearly summer savings event. Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day, and they guarantee your new hair will grow. There's absolutely no one in hair restoration I trust more than Advanced Hair. Take advantage of your flexible summer calendar and get the most hair for your dollar. Advanced Hair's summer sales event on for a limited time, so get the details and schedule your free consultation today. 470-660-HAIR. One-day treatment, life-changing results. With Advanced Hair, your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Check out the incredible before and afters and take advantage of their best offer ever. That's 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com. 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
It is officially summer break, and we can all take a deep breath. Well, only if your air ducts are clean. Call the cleaning pros at Zero Res to get your ducts insanely clean. And now you can take advantage of their summer sale for 15% off all services, including carpet, area rugs, and air duct cleanings. For a limited time, mention me, Chris Chandler, and you'll get 15% off your next service. That is right, any service, 15% off. Use promo code SUMMERSALE when scheduling online at ZeroResAtlanta.com.
All right, Alex Williams, how are we doing on the roads?
I think I just found some new trouble between Ackworth and Kennesaw, Sabrina. I'm checking on it in the center lane, 75 south before Wade Green Road, exit number 273. And also seeing some brake lights, 85 southbound, leaving Jimmy Carter Boulevard, trying to get down to Spaghetti Junction. Going to see if anything's blocking our lane right around Pleasantdale Road, exit number 96. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Mostly sunny today with low humidity, high 91, lows tonight in the upper 60s to low 70s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, staying dry, high 93. Saturday, sunny skies, morning lows in the low 70s, daytime high 92.
We'll have more news at 1 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
It's WSB's $1,000 Thursday. Your chance to win $1,000 every hour today until 4 p.m. The 12 o'clock keyword is party. That's party, P-A-R-T-Y. Go to WSBradio.com or the WSB Radio app and enter the keyword party for your chance to win. You have until 12:59 to enter. Good luck. Welcome back. It is Eric Erickson here across the United States. Those of you on the road, please drive safely. Those of you headed to the airport, get there really, really early. Around the country today. So I'm near the world's busiest airport, Two Dead Mayors International Airport in Atlanta, Georgia. But from LaGuardia to JFK to LAX to O'Hare, everywhere around the country, there are massive, massive wait times for TSA security. So many people are flying. So many people are driving. So get to the airport really early if you can, if you're traveling out of town. And also remember, a lot of people will be coming back Saturday, Sunday, so you're going to have long wait times then too. But drive carefully out there. Drive carefully. I want to read you from Punchbowl News. Punchbowl News, these guys, just so you understand the machinations, not a big fan of the name of the site, but nonetheless, Jake Sherman and them, they wrote the Politico playbook. Politico just never seemed to really invest in them, and they decided to go out and do their own thing. They can make more money at it, they really are well-sourced people. And I want to read for you, this was written this morning with the House on cusp of passing it. Let me just read for you. As of press time, the House was debating the package. Final passage is expected early this morning. The path that led this moment was unbelievably tortured and at times unbelievable. The House held back-to-back votes open for a combined 14 hours as Johnson, his leadership team, Trump, and senior administration officials furiously whipped holdout GOP lawmakers to back the $3.3 trillion package. The GOP budget will extend and expand the 2017 tax cuts, including new tax cuts for tips, overtime on Social Security recipients, all presidential priorities, while also making huge cuts to Medicaid and SNAP funding. This will leave millions of Americans without health insurance. Republicans also included hundreds of billions of dollars in new defense and border security money. Trump and GOP leaders assert the package is needed to boost the U.S. economy after years of Democratic mismanagement under Joe Biden. Democrat and budget experts counter this will add trillions to the national debt. The last chapter of this drama over the last 24 hours had more twists and turns than a final episode of White Lotus. At around 3:20 a.m., after holding the vote open for nearly 6 hours, while Johnson and Trump lobbied them furiously, several hardline conservative holdouts voted to move forward with the measure, ending a dramatic floor stalemate. The holdouts included John Breachin of Oklahoma, Eric Burlison of Missouri, Keith Self of Texas, Scott Perry of Pennsylvania, Bob Onder of Missouri, Andy Harris of Maryland, and Chip Roy of Texas. Brian Fitzpatrick of Pennsylvania, a moderate, was the only no vote. What makes this so remarkable is that Harris, Roy, and Self spent a huge chunk of this week dumping all over the bill, only to vote for it with absolutely no changes a day later. Roy went so far as to say he wouldn't vote for a rule at all and indicated he wanted to revise the package and send it back to the Senate. That's not going to happen now. We made some progress on some fiscal issues, Self told us early in the morning. The House Freedom Caucus caved again. They will lose a tremendous amount of sway in the wake of this episode. Thomas Massie was a one-man roller coaster for the GOP leadership. He railed against the bill all week. He initially voted for the rule. At 11:30 p.m., he entered a mostly House chamber and switched his vote from yes to no. However, Massie switched again back to yes when all the hardliners flipped. The GOP leadership hopes that Massie will vote for final passage later this morning. He's made clear he would like Trump to stop attacking him. Surprising yes votes on the procedural rule vote included David Valadao of California, who represents a district chock full of Medicaid recipients. Valadao voted for the motion at 11:20 p.m. as most of the members were gone. Valadao lost his seat in 2018 and regained it in 2020. On Wednesday, GOP lawmakers threw caution to the wind to advance the bill over reservations. Greg Murphy, Republican of North Carolina, physician in his fourth term, told reporters he was worried about the bill's steep funding cuts to rural hospitals. Murphy voted for the bill. Johnson was able to get people on board. Now, here's the thing. We don't know the deals struck to get them on board. Some of the deals struck are campaign promises. I can tell you that I know that some of the deals struck were that Donald Trump's got to stop hammering people. He's got to stop threatening to campaign against certain conservative Republicans he doesn't like. That they voted for it on the condition that he would do that. They trust him to keep his word. They trust him to keep his word. But also, there are going to be now, we know, 2 more reconciliation packages done. The House speakers made clear there will be new reconciliation packages. Axios is reporting the Congressional Budget Office right now is estimating $1.1 trillion in healthcare cuts. And again, a lot of that is taking people off the rolls who don't necessarily need healthcare. I'll tell you one thing that I do think that we gotta deal with now. We got to deal with small business health insurance. We got to deal with small business health insurance. I can't, let me just talk about myself. And I got a small business. I mean, we don't, I'm not getting rich at this, contrary to what some people think. You don't get rich in radio. In fact, I'm always suspicious of people who don't have a lot of radio stations. They got less than me, and they're claiming they're making massive amounts of money. No, look, I know you're not getting lavishly wealthy in this stuff. I mean, I make good money, but I'm not a millionaire by any chance. I can't afford health insurance for my employees. I would love to be able to afford health insurance for my employees. It is ridiculously expensive. And even when you climb the ladder and you're making way more money than I'm making, and your business is making a lot of money, small businesses can't provide health insurance for their employees. And a lot of it is because of Obamacare. Obamacare, you will recall, was honestly designed to break the system. Obamacare was designed to break the system, to drive up costs, to eventually get people to single payer. Never let a crisis go to waste, they said. The Republicans keep trying to restructure Obamacare. The problem is Republicans, the Democrats were able to initially pass Obamacare because they got 60 seats in the Senate. Arlen Specter switched. They got 60 seats in the Senate. And once Obamacare was structured and passed, they were then able to go back in using reconciliation because the policy was done. The policy was Obamacare. And then they were able to use reconciliation to make changes from a budgetary perspective. That's, a lot of people, they continue to misrepresent what happened with Obamacare and reconciliation because they're trying to make you have grievances against the Senate Republicans and their process against the Senate parliamentarian. But Obamacare was passed because the Democrats got up to 60 votes. Then Ted Kennedy died, and Scott Brown gets elected, and they got to go through reconciliation, and they had to make their changes following the reconciliation framework, some of which the Senate parliamentarian threw out. Many of them she did not because the existing policy was now Obamacare. It became law, so it could be tweaked from a budget perspective. But the process has gotten so convoluted, it's driven up the price for small businesses to get health insurance for their employees. And it is very hard now, even among alternative systems, to get health care insurance for small businesses. It has become very, very expensive. And it's pushing more people into Obamacare who don't want to be there. And I think it would behoove Republicans to come up with a plan to get small businesses the ability to pool resources together. Look, a company that's got 5,000 or 6,000 employees is able to fund health care. A company that's got 5 employees is not. A company that's got 100 employees, it's a real burden. You got to get to thousands of employees for it to become less of a burden. Now, a buddy of mine is the financial director for a private school, and he was telling me that their largest cost outside of personnel is healthcare. That it is a massive, massive cost. And this is a sizable school. It's a private school, but it's sizable. Why can't all the private schools pool together and get a common health insurance plan? The state schools have a state insurance plan. Why can't the private schools do it? Why can't all the private schools pull together? Have a couple. Have one for the Christian schools, because some of the progressive private schools are going to want to fund abortion. the Christian private schools aren't. Allow them to get into big pools together. This is common sense stuff. Do it across state lines so you can grow the pool bigger. Why not? This is going to be one of the problems moving forward with healthcare in the country. Healthcare was the defining fight. And we should be able to move people off the government dole and Obamacare if we can allow private employers to reduce their costs to get insurance. It's something the GOP is going to have to deal with. It really is something Republicans are going to have to tackle next. And maybe they can do some of it through reconciliation tweaks because the speaker says there are going to be a couple more. Now, I got to tell you about the Eden Pure Thunderstorm. You can get 3 of them. You can save $200. You save $200 at EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is ERIC3, ERICK3. You know, we're leaving this afternoon, taking the kids on a trip, and I've got it in my travel bag in case somebody's been smoking in the hotel room or smokes in the hotel room next to me. You can hold this thing in the palm of your hand. It's small, and you can plug it into the wall. You can plug it into a USB cord. You can plug it in if like a car has a USB outlet, you can plug it in there and power it, or just directly into the wall. It's filterless. You do not have to get a filter subscription, and it just works. It gets rid of dust, pollen, smoke particles. It kills 99.9% of bacteria and viruses. I don't actually use it as an air purifier. I don't leave it running all the time. I don't leave it running because over time the ozone does build up, but the ozone is what wipes out the odors, and that's how I use it, an odor eliminator. An odor eliminator, because ozone wipes out odors. It's known to do that. It kills every odor, litter box odors, pet odors, cooking odors. It wipes them out. And it works really, really well. I've used it for that. It will work for you, too. You can get 3 of them, upstairs, downstairs, your basement, your RV, wherever you need them. You plug it in, you wipe out the odors, then you put it up. It's small, it's portable, it works. I've walked into hotel rooms where there were fireplaces, and the hotels were using the Eden Pure Thunderstorm to wipe out the smoky odors from the fireplaces. EdenPureDeals.com. EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code ERIC3, ERICK3 at EdenPureDeals.com.
Seems hazy? Eric will clear the way. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
1247, Cool Day Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Some better news heading out of Ackworth toward Kennesaw. Stall just cleared out of a center lane, 75 south before Wade Green Road exit 273. So those brake lights back toward Highway 92 and Allatoona Gateway will improve. Northbound starting to get a little sluggish through Marietta toward Kennesaw. Just travel volume there. And downtown slow, 85 south from the Georgia 400 merge into Midtown. Traffic brought to you by Whole Foods Market. Find summer's sweetest sale at Whole Foods Market. Save 50% on ice cream and frozen desserts with Prime through July 15th while supplies last. Shop in store or online. Terms apply. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
It's WSB's $1,000 Thursday. Your chance to win $1,000 every hour today until 4 p.m. The 12 o'clock keyword is party. That's party, P-A-R-T-Y. Go to WSBradio.com or the WSB Radio app and enter the keyword party for your chance to win. You have until 12:59 to enter. Good luck.
I love my home, and now I found a company that loves it as much as I do. TE Certified Electrical Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. It's Chris Chandler here. These folks have done work in my home. Boy, it didn't take long to realize I could trust their expertise, their attention to detail, and what I think you'll find, just as I did, an amazing level of service. TE Certified has more than 20,000 5-star reviews, and it's been serving Atlanta for decades.
TE Certified, we love your home. What you walk on in your home should be wonderful.
Hi, I'm Michael, proud founder of Authentic Hardwood Flooring. Your summer vacation is going to be awesome, but coming home to those floors won't be. While you're gone, let our highly trained installers transform your space. Just imagine coming home to beautiful new floors. Our promise is to make your flooring process painless. Our focus is to make it perfect.
Authentic Hardwood Flooring offers high-quality craftsmanship with an exceptional customer experience. AuthenticHardwoodFlooring.com.
Belinda Skelton here with Atlanta Vision Institute's very own Dr. Ashraf, who is one of the most experienced eye surgeons in the country. Dr. Ashraf, we've all watched the news and the economy is uncertain, but failing eyesight isn't. And if you've held back due to finances, we've got good news for you, don't we?
Yes, Belinda, as you know, our eyesights degrade as we age. And with the laser optics procedure, that resets all of that. And Most of my patients go most of the day without glasses. They can even read their phone without glasses. And in terms of the economy, most of these patients, their medical insurance can cover most of the costs. And if it doesn't, we have a lot of good financing options for this procedure.
That's awesome, Dr. Ashraf. I urge you to take the quiz to see if you're a candidate. Go to 2020atlanta.com. That's 2020atlanta.com.
WSB consumer expert Clark Howard.
I wear 3 fitness and health trackers. Are they doing bad stuff to me? Consumer Reports has done an investigation of all the different fitness apps, the fitness trackers, of which I have 3, my Oura Ring, I have my Samsung smartwatch, my Garmin fitness tracker. I'm obsessed with these numbers, and I'll look and I'll see what my heart rate is on one is reporting, what the other is reporting. All this data, you agree to terms of use and how they can resell it. And Consumer Reports found again and again, these apps are taking your personal information and making money from it, selling off your info. And if that really freaks you out, then you shouldn't be doing what I'm doing and wearing any of these things. I'm Clark Howard.
WSB Atlanta, WSB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Get the podcast, live stream, email, and social media links by texting Eric to 33777 now.
Guys, I waited until the end. I thought about starting the show, but with the one big beautiful bill and everything else, I figured I needed to actually start with legitimate stuff and not my stuff. But I got to tell you, Schnitker, I thank you. The Braves last night, they won. I said that I wanted the Braves to win yesterday on air. I said, Braves, I need you to win. Taking my nephew to a Braves game last night. I haven't seen my nephew in a couple of years. My nephew Logan lives over in Clinton, Mississippi. My sister's family, they live over in Mississippi, in Learned. My parents went to Mississippi College in Clinton. My family just have this connection to Clinton, Mississippi. My parents went to Mississippi College. My oldest sister attended there for a time. All of her daughters graduated from there. My family has a strong connection to Mississippi College in Clinton, Mississippi. I spent a lot of time growing up there. Now my nephew's there. I never get to see my nephew Logan. And he and his buddy Chandler were going to a Braves game last night. They decided to come to Atlanta, watch the Angels and the Braves 2 nights in a row. And last night I had dinner with my buddy John King. He's the insurance commissioner in Georgia, running for the Senate, the general. Great guy. And I was like, so you know what, since I'm going to be up there already, I'll be able to get to the game after dinner's over. I kind of hated it. I had to rush dinner a little bit with John, who he's just the nicest guy. And we had a great conversation, and then decided I was going to get to the stadium, get to the teepee. And my nephew and his friend, they got cheapy nosebleed seats way up at the top. And I got a 7th row behind home plate. Upgraded their seats. And I said yesterday, Schnitker, I need your boys to win. Y'all, I've never in person seen a grand slam before. And God bless you, Matt Olson. I love you. Matt Olson hit a grand slam. The bases were loaded. The Braves won the game. They were behind until like the 6th inning. And then one of them hit a home run. And Olson hits a grand slam. I mean, the Braves wound up winning last night. It was glorious. They hadn't been doing so well this year. It was wonderful. And I had a blast with my nephew. And my gosh, the amount of people. So a buddy of mine, I put up a picture on Instagram, and a friend of mine said, hey, are you here? I said, yeah. So it's like, my family's here. So I got up and I walked around the stadium to where they were. And in the process, kept running into people, and everybody wanted pictures. Made me feel kind of good. People do listen. So I took a lot of pictures of people. Then another buddy of mine texted me, says, hey, we're here. Where are you? And so I was like, I'll walk to you. So I walked to them. I had to take more pictures with people. And then hung out with them for a little bit. But it was fun to hang out with my nephew. I never get to see him. He's my oldest nephew. And I never get to see him. His younger brother's in the Air Force. I never get to see him either. But it was fun. And the Braves won. Matt Olson, that grand slam, man. Olsen is one of my favorite players on the Braves to begin with. Dude is freaking tall, and he's a lefty, which is okay. My son's a lefty, and I call him sociopath lovingly. Playing golf with my son, who's a lefty, it always just throws me off when he stands up there. And but he hit that grand slam, and it was Darno was there, who used to play for the Braves. It was funny to watch Olsen kick the ball away from him too. In any event, I don't want to talk about the Braves. I'm happy. The Braves did what I needed them to do last night. Schnitker, I love you. I love the Braves, and I was wearing my Brave shirt. But we got great seats. It made my nephew happy to be able to get up there that close and personal. Now, we got to move on because there is news. I told you at the beginning that we're going to talk a lot about it. But there's this put out by the RNC. You got to hear this clip.
You expected some of this, but this is better than expected?
Yeah, Sarah, it is. Look, this jobs market is like the Energizer Bunny. Every single time we expect it to run out of steam, it just keeps going and going. So these new numbers show that the U.S. economy added 147,000 jobs in June. That was well ahead of the expectation of about 118,000, well ahead of some whispers that we heard on Wall Street of a sub 100,000 number. So this is indeed beating expectations. We were also expecting a slowdown. We did not get that. This is basically in line with May, which was revised higher. It's also good news. The unemployment rate was expected to go up. It didn't. It went down to 4.1%. That is a very healthy number. This is still relatively historically low. And again, it's below the 4.3% that we had expected.
Yeah. Now, there is some underlying concern, and even folks around the president are saying that there is some alarm because you know where the majority of those jobs were created? Government. State and local government. All of the people Doge fired, they're getting rehired by state and local governments, and that actually is impacting the job numbers. Not making that up. True stuff. True story here. So there is some weak data here, but it's actually really good that the president can say this. And because most tariffs have still been put off and are in negotiations, you're seeing a really good economy. You're seeing some underlying weaknesses, though, that may actually be able to give Jerome Powell an excuse to go on and cut rates now instead of September. We'll see. But, y'all, I got to tell you, I want to spend time in this and wade through the numbers. There are warning signs, and I know how this works. Some of you are going to get mad that I'm downplaying a good economy. That's what happens when the Democrats are in charge. Then you do it. The Democrats get mad when Republicans are in charge. They get mad when you start raising the warning signs. But there are real warning signs. There are. It's good numbers, though, for the president. He gets to claim good numbers. But I want to walk you all through the data. And I want to talk about immigration as well when we come back, because there are some warning signs cropping up among Hispanic voters who voted for Donald Trump that they're starting to get a little fearful that they're being overly aggressive with immigration. But what about legal immigrants? There's a great piece in the Wall Street Journal today. I actually want to read it for you from a legal immigrant who took the time to do things right, who thinks we are ignoring the proper way to immigrate. It's Eric Erickson here, nationwide. We'll be back. I love you, Braves.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
A few years ago, my youngest son had something minor turned into something very major in a matter of hours.
It was Medi-Share that came through for us, and there was no hassles, there was no problem.
That's what's so wonderful about knowing that you're a part of such an incredible ministry.
Medi-Share is a biblical approach to healthcare where Christians share each other's medical expenses.
Medi-Share is a family, a group of people that stick with you through the hardest times of your life.
Medi-Share isn't insurance. It's a nonprofit ministry over 30 years old, and members have shared over $8 billion of each other's medical bills.
We don't have to spend so much on health insurance. You can focus that on supporting other people.
Medi-Share is affordable.
Medi-Share is biblical. Medi-Share is family.
Join thousands of Christians who can help you save on your health care and support your family when you need it. Call 855-51-BIBLE, 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE.
When
and traffic hits.
I-75 completely shut down north and south between McDonough and Locust Grove.
The Triple Team Traffic Center has you covered.
Brake lights fill in on 316 westbound at Sugarloaf Parkway.
Your source for Atlanta's traffic.
Heavy police fire department activity.
Brought to you by the Cool Ray Lifetime Parts and Labor Warranty.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
News, weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. Lane closures related to construction on hold now for the 4th of July travel period, as today is expected to be a very busy traffic day. Now through 8 o'clock tonight. And with all the activities planned around the metro area, Atlanta police say they're ready.
APD has two fronts to protect the more vulnerable tens of thousands of runners in the AJC Peachtree 10K. Deputy Chief Kelly Collier says a new tactic should stop a car from plowing into participants.
We're deploying hundreds of vehicle barriers throughout the racetrack.
Also watching for trouble, officers undercover in a way you might not guess.
Officers running in the actual race.
At the command center, officers monitoring nearly 5,000 cameras, and in the air, helicopters and drones. At Atlanta Police Headquarters, Steve Summers, 95.5 WSB.
And the weather looks nice too. Today, mostly sunny, low humidity, highs 91. We'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast with WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards straight ahead. Well, ahead of the final House vote on the spending bill, which funds President Trump's domestic priorities, Democrats are trying to delay the vote. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries on the floor of the chamber for hours.
On behalf of the American people, on behalf of their health care, on behalf of their Medicaid, on behalf of their nutritional assistance, on behalf of veterans, on behalf of farmers, on behalf of...
Now, the vote is expected today. President Trump has said that he wanted the bill on his desk before July 4th. That is tomorrow. Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger announcing a multi-phase audit of Georgia's voter rolls.
Well, the first thing would be actually doing a mailing, sending these out to people. We are wanting to verify that they still live at the location. So there hasn't been activity there for a while, so we're making sure that they still actually do live at the residence there.
He says they're also going to be using a new verification tool this year to audit the accuracy of residential addresses. That audit is expected to take 3 months to complete. U.S. employers added 147,000 jobs in June. That's more than what was expected as the labor market shows resilience despite uncertainty over the economy. The unemployment rate falls to 4.1%. USA Today ranks Johns Creek as one of the top dog parks in the United States. Newtown Dream Dog Park comes in at number 3 on the list of the top parks for dogs. The fenced-in 1-acre park features artificial turf, sprinklers, agility obstacles, and water fountains. USA Today says the park also includes separate areas for large and small dogs, as well as benches and a lot of shade trees for those human companions. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow currently up 344 at 44,828. NASDAQ also up more than a full percent, and the S&P's also in the green. It's 102.
Oh, popsicle drips, muddy shoes, and summertime messes. Don't let them take over your home. Call Zerorez Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning. Zerorez uses their ZR water technology, no dirt-attracting soaps, no harsh chemicals, just a truly clean, healthy home. Right now, take advantage of their summer sale. Get 15% off all services, that is carpets, air ducts, rugs, tile, and more, all 15% off. Just mention Chris Chandler or book now at ZerorezAtlanta.com, and yeah, they do commercial cleaning too. Zerorez, all they leave is clean.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix that's guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Right now, save on USDA Choice Boneless New York Strip Steaks. Just $10.99 a pound in the family pack with your digital coupon. Limit 5. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Hey folks, it's Belinda. What you have planned this weekend? How about visiting the Lakewood 400 Antiques Market in Cumming, Friday through Sunday this weekend? Grab your spouse or your friends and go on a treasure hunt with over 500 booths. Everything you can imagine from jewelry, collectibles, sports memorabilia, antiques, furniture, handcrafts, and toys. Every aisle and row is a different adventure. Come on out this weekend to the Lakewood 400 Antiques Market, 1321 Atlanta Highway in Cumming. Visit LakewoodAntiques.com.
If you're thinking about selling your home this summer, now is the time. With the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, you can sell your home hassle-free and make the most money. Hi, this is Mark Spain. The guaranteed offer for Mark Spain Real Estate's the easiest way to sell your home. Skip the hassle of costly repairs and sell your home stress-free. There's no showings, no open houses, and no waiting or wondering when your home's going to sell. Our guaranteed offer keeps you in control. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
At Shane Company, we've been engagement ring experts for almost 100 years. We have the largest selection of diamonds and gemstones in stock. You don't have to wait to compare them side by side. Find the one that speaks to you at shaneco.com or in store. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Have you ever had a bad experience getting repair work done on your European car? You need to get to know Wolf Pen Auto Repair at Roswell for honest estimates with honest pricing by factory certified techs for work on your Porsche, Mercedes-Benz, Audi, or BMW. Search Wolf Pen Auto Repair and see the difference.
All right, Alex Williams, how are we doing on the roads?
Looking for a new crash reported in the left lane over heading up into Clarkston, 285 northbound, past Covington Highway, exit 43. Already seen the delay starting before Glenwood Road. I-20 both east and westbound over there on the east side into Cab. You're on and off the brakes in both directions through the work zone between 285 and Lithonia. And earlier stall all gone, and the delays have cleared up nicely. Kennesaw, 75 south, Wade Green Road, exit 273. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Mostly sunny today with low humidity, highs in the low 90s.
86 degrees in Douglasville and Roswell. Beaufort has 85. We'll have more news at 1:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
It's WSB's $1,000 Thursday. Your chance to win $1,000 every hour today until 4 p.m. The 1 o'clock keyword is July. That's July, July. Go to WSBradio.com or the WSB Radio app and enter the keyword July for your chance to win. You have until 1:59 to enter. Good luck. Hello and welcome. It is Eric Erickson here, and we can move beyond the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. And, you know, if you're a subscriber to the show notes, yesterday I noted that ADP, sudden sneeze, ADP announced that there was a decline in jobs last month. And I said, look, this is the private sector data. The economists like to look at the public sector data, that is the government-operated Department of Labor data. ADP was wrong last month, but people are a little bit worried about the jobs. Well, it turns out U.S. job growth continued at a steady pace last month. It's from the Wall Street Journal. Surprising economists who had predicted a slowdown in hiring amid uncertainty over trade and fiscal policy. The U.S. added 147,000 jobs in June, the Labor Department reported Thursday. Above the gain of 110,000 jobs, economists polled by the Wall Street Journal had expected. The unemployment rate, which is based on a separate survey, fell to 4.1% from 4.2%. Revisions showed that hiring was stronger in prior months than previously thought. The number of jobs added in April and May was a combined 16,000 higher than prior estimates. Healthcare continues to add jobs. Now, what was the biggest driver of employment? What was the biggest driver of employment? This is actually one of the warning signs. This is the undercurrent warning sign. So they added 147,000 jobs. 73,000 were government jobs. The feds lost 7,000 jobs. The rest of the government, state and local, was up 73,000. That's right, 73,000 government jobs. Now, that's state and local, that's outside the federal government, but it's good news that the labor market has gone up, but it's also not great news that so many of the jobs were inside the public sector, not the private sector. The U.S. economy continues to face uncertainty, the report reads from the Wall Street Journal. Trade deals with UK, China, and now Vietnam. But the European Union trade deal is not yet up. The president has delayed tariffs on the EU until July 9th. Now, therein is another issue here that I've been telling you that I wanted to see the impact on tariffs. But a lot of the tariffs haven't really even come into effect yet. The EU tariffs don't come into effect till July 9th. We are seeing toy prices up, things like that. U.S. manufacturing activity shrank for the fourth straight month in June, according to a survey. released by the Institute for Supply Management. And Goldman Sachs found signs of a steep drop in job openings since the start of the year at companies with a high dependency on sales in Europe. At the same time, consumer sentiment continues to improve after falling sharply. The signals are real mixed out there, but the fact that unemployment is down does suggest that, and also net immigration to the United States will fall to zero or be negative. So we've wiped out immigration into the country. The job market remains strong, though it is government-oriented at the state and local level. Tariffs that were supposed to go into effect haven't gone into effect. I mean, the economy's not doing bad, y'all. There are warning signs, and we shouldn't ignore the warning signs. And the problem here is that a lot of people who are very defensive of the president will say, no, ignore the warning signs, everything's good. But there are currents underneath that are problematic. At the same time, the president can tout the record. It is something that people didn't expect. The ADP report came out and said we're going to have problems, and the problems simply aren't there. This is good. This is good. Now, let's add in other things. We're starting to get these trade deals. We'll get some by September, probably the EU trade deal by September. The Canadians are back at the table, having the president walk away from them because of the issue of the digital services tax. They're coming back. And we got the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. So we can now, businesses that are still unsure of tariffs are now sure of the tax and regulatory structure for at least the next 5 years for sure on taxes. I mean, we got a good economy set to go, folks. We may be able to get out of a recession. Now, next week, Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve, or week after next, rather, I think, Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve, they're going to meet, they're going to assess interest rates. He's been saying wait until September. He's been saying wait until September, but at the same time, there's concern enough that he may want to start lowering interest rates. Why? Because there's another side of this. This, too, from the Wall Street Journal. The U.S. has been adding jobs at a respectable clip, though the pace has been slow. And economists show that jobs have gone up. The U.S. increased jobs. The good news has been layoff activity has remained relatively low, with employers hanging on to workers despite worries about the economy. People who have jobs are keeping them. Those who want jobs are having a tougher time finding them, though. That's one problem. High school and college graduates are in the job hunt after an absence. Some who have been fired are starting to look, and that has created a stagnant market where there is little movement, even with new jobs added. It's an environment where a bit more hiring could rekindle job growth, while a slight pickup in layoffs could make the labor market more stuck. Now, interestingly enough, this is a report that came in yesterday morning. So now suddenly this report from the Wall Street Journal was yesterday. They're a little bit concerned, but now we know that the jobs market is actually higher than it was. At the same time, they're raising the same flag that I am, that the job growth coming from government is actually a bad sign. Now, part of it is hiring law enforcement and teachers. Law enforcement and teachers, they're government, but we don't necessarily treat them so much as government. Healthcare being the other sector, you combine healthcare and government, that's where most jobs are going. Healthcare makes sense. We've got an aging population. Now, here's the underlying problem. The underlying problem you're not really going to get from, well, everybody in the media. The underlying problem is that we're an aging population and people aren't having kids. And immigration is now down to about zero. This is going to fundamentally realign the economy unless we can figure out how to get people to have kids again and bring birth rates up. It's something we need. We genuinely need people to produce again. As I'm talking now, a buddy of mine who is, I would say, Trump adjacent just texted me and said that the jobs number is actually fundamentally weak when the majority of them are in government and healthcare. Yeah, but also they were expecting a decrease. So Trump can still pull some surprises. And again, now businesses actually do have some wiggle room to plan. And don't underestimate the need and necessity for wiggle rooms, for people to get some wiggle room in the economy to be able to maneuver. There are enough signs, put it this way, there are enough signs of weakness, it gives Jerome Powell an excuse to lower interest rates. There are enough signs of stability that it gives businesses a chance to plan. This, if anything, now with the One Big Beautiful Bill Act passing, it gives a lot of people the ability to plan for the future. And in planning for the future, that creates the stability people have been saying we needed. And by the way, I agree. I absolutely think that stability is needed. And I absolutely think that this whirlwind of on again, off again, on again, off again, on again, off again, on again, off again, maybe, will he, won't he, what are they, tariffs, has caused a lot of that instability. Because a lot of you think the tariffs are all in effect and why aren't we seeing them? The problem is there's been a lot of three-card Monte here of, well, these tariffs are in effect, but these tariffs aren't in effect. The EU tariffs aren't in effect. They were supposed to be in effect. The baseline 10% is there. We are seeing increases there, but the baseline 10%, it's generating more revenue. It's offset by the tax cuts. That's not bad, but now we're getting 20% tariffs on Vietnam. Vietnam, no tariffs on Americans, but the Vietnamese can't afford American products. So we still have warning signs. All of this is to say there's a good deal to be happy about. And if you're Donald Trump today, you should be touting the jobs numbers. Probably doesn't want to tout too much that the jobs growth comes mostly from government. But if you're Democrats, you see where this is headed and you understand why they're fighting so hard against preserving the tax cuts. Because the tax cuts give a level of stability that are going to help businesses grow, that are going to help businesses plan. And that's a good thing. Job growth is a good thing. Now, where does all this leave us? Well, one of the issues still to come is immigration. I want to talk a little bit about that because there are starting to be some warning signs in focus groups of Hispanic voters who voted for Donald Trump and white supporters of Donald Trump. This is a warning sign. I was having a conversation this morning with someone who's very, very pro-Trump, but he's done a focus group of Hispanic supporters. He's like, there's a warning sign here. We're trying to get this to the president. Likewise, one of the warning signs that's coming is with zero immigration. If we do get to full American employment, there are still going to be a lot of jobs available, open, and needing to be filled, particularly in the ag and manufacturing and home building sector. And without figuring out the immigration solution to these problems, we're going to have problems. Home builders are starting to say they're slowing down not because of inflation. They're slowing down because they're having a hard time finding more labor. Farm industry and the hospitality industry are starting to complain that they have vacancies they can't fill because people have disappeared. And yes, illegal immigrants, which is not to say we need illegal immigration. Don't hear me saying we need illegal immigration. What I'm saying is we need to figure out ways to reform the system and do it as quickly as we can because there are labor market warning signs starting to show up just in that alone among pro-Trump constituencies who might get hurt if we can't figure out a path to bring in migrant workers, make them legal, and then send them home after the work is done. We'll talk about that when we come back.
Have something to say? Hello. Call the show. 1-877-97-ERIC. That's 1-877-973-7425.
118 Cool Ray Carrier WSB 24-hour traffic center jammed up 285 northbound, the outer loop into Cab from Flat Shoals up past Covington Highway exit 43 where there's been a crash working in the left lane. All lanes blocked and reopened on I-20 eastbound right at the downtown connector 7585 exit 57. They relocated a stall from the left lane to the right shoulder. Traffic brought to you by Georgia Aquarium. This summer, experience bioluminescence and all things light during glow nights at Georgia Aquarium. Save $10 after 4 p.m. Just visit georgiaaquarium.org. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
It's WSB's $1,000 Thursday. Your chance to win $1,000 every hour today until 4 p.m. The 1 o'clock keyword is July. That's July, July. Go to WSBradio.com or the WSB Radio app and enter the keyword July for your chance to win. You have until 1:59 to enter. Good luck.
You know, I've had listeners, coworkers, friends come up and ask me, hey, Aram, what makes Advanced Hair Restoration different? Well, allow me to share, along with some details on, get this, their once-a-year summer savings event. First off, Advanced Hair stands by their results, and their before and afters are second to none. With Advanced Hair, your own natural hair guaranteed to grow. Secondly, Advanced Hair combines top-rated physicians with modern technology, creating a concierge-quality experience that's hard to find elsewhere. Finally, Advanced Hair's Advanced FUE begins regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. Quick, simple, and easy. Now, if you have a flexible schedule this summer and you've been waiting for the savings special opportunity, it's here, friends. Advanced Hair Summer Savings Event will get you the most hair for your dollar. It's their best offer ever. For details and to schedule your free consultation, call 770-660-HAIR. One-day treatment, life-changing results. Your new hair guaranteed to grow. 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com.
At the Original Mattress Factory, we make mattress shopping easy. We offer our lowest and best price to everyone, every day, so you can shop when you're ready. We show you exactly what's inside of our mattresses so you can see and feel the quality for yourself to ensure you're getting the best value. And we offer a no-pressure shopping experience. Our team is here to help you find the best mattress for you. It's that easy. Visit an OMF location today to see the Original Mattress Factory difference for yourself.
Summer is here, so if you're thinking about selling your home, now is the time. With Mark Spain Real Estate's guaranteed offer, you can sell your home quickly and for maximum value. Hi, it's Chris Chandler. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing.
If you've got a 401k or an IRA, I've got some bad news for you. Well, unless you love paying taxes. Hi, this is Troy Reagan from right here in Atlanta. I'm a best-selling author, award-winning film producer, and creator of the Reaganomics Roth Conversion Strategy. IRAs and 401k accounts can be a tax disaster. Required minimum distributions can destroy your savings because when the market drops, you are still required to take a withdrawal and pay taxes on it. The bad news is that the RMD is usually calculated based on your balance before the loss, so these withdrawals lock in your losses forever. Converting to a Roth IRA solves the problem, but people don't do it because they don't want to get clobbered by a huge tax bill. Thankfully, there is a solution. It's a powerful strategy I created that allows you to convert IRAs and 401ks into a tax-free Roth with zero money out of your pocket. You heard right. You can convert your IRA or 401k to a Roth without paying the tax bill out of pocket. Call 1-800-291-1414 now to get a free Roth conversion analysis and see if you qualify to get the huge benefits of a Reaganomics Roth conversion. 1-800-291-1414. That's 1-800-291-1414. Again, that's 1-800-291-1414.
Hey everyone, it's your buddy Shelly Winter here. Join me this Saturday at noon for the Car Guys with Kevin Deutsch from Butler Lexus of South Atlanta. Buy or lease, fix or sell, everything you want to know about cars, we will cover Saturday noon to 1 right here on 95.5 WSB.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
A few years ago, my youngest son had something minor turned into something very major in a matter of hours.
It was Medi-Share that came through for us, and there was no hassles, there was no problem.
That's what's so wonderful about knowing that you're a part of such an incredible ministry.
Medi-Share is a biblical approach to healthcare where Christians share each other's medical expenses.
Medi-Share is a family, a group of people that stick with you through the hardest times of your life.
Medi-Share isn't insurance. It's a nonprofit ministry over 30 years old, and members have shared over $8 billion of each other's medical bills.
We don't have to spend so much on health insurance. You can focus on supporting other people.
Medi-Share is affordable.
Medi-Share is biblical.
Medi-Share is family. Join thousands of Christians who can help you save on your health care and support your family when you need it. Call 855-51-BIBLE, 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE.
Your non-stop news source, 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. You may not agree with him, but he tells you the truth. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
Welcome back. It is Erick Erickson here, live with you today. I'm going to be off tomorrow. I'm actually taking the kids out of town. My wife did not want to go anywhere, and the kids were like, "Can we go out of town?" So we're going to go out of town. This is probably, I don't know. So let me just do this here, and I can carry the thought over into the next segment. A number of Republicans who work with the new voters who have come into the Republican coalition, Hispanic voters in particular, are starting to raise warning signs. They're becoming concerned that the president in the mass deportations aren't just focusing on the gangbangers and the criminals, that they're starting to get concerned about the grandmothers. They're starting to get concerned about the students. They're starting to get concerned about the people who came over at a young age who are been here. Now, you not got to listen to me here, because some of you get your back up when we talk about this stuff. And you get very, very defensive. And I don't want you to be defensive. I just want you to understand the point. Donald Trump got elected with the most diverse Republican coalition ever. You've got to find a way to preserve that coalition for 2026 to turn out for the midterms, and 2028 to make sure that Donald Trump gets, or not that Donald Trump, but J.D. Vance, Rubio, whoever the nominee is, gets elected. If the Democrats are able to convince Hispanic voters that they were right about the GOP is going to have problems. And the issue are the mistakes, because there have been cases of people getting deported who no one would think should probably, other than the most hardcore anti-immigration types, should be at the top of the list for deportations. When the president said they were going to go after the gangbangers and the criminals, the grandmothers whose only law broken was coming into the country is not at the top of the list. Or the parents with kids. And there is some real concern building in the Hispanic community. And let's be real honest about most of what it is. Most of what it is the president, Tom Homan, Kristi Noem, the like, Kristi Homan in particular, cosplaying as major law enforcement, tough and aggressive. They're allowing the media to define what's going on and tell stories, many of which aren't actually true, or many of which are distorted. The Camila Abrego Garcia case is going to be a situation that we're going to have to keep our eye on, because there actually is now the story coming out talking about the beatings, the sleep deprivation, the malnutrition and torture that he faced in prison. And the left and the media are seizing on this to make a sympathetic case. And it does turn out, you don't want to hear this. My job's to tell you what the truth, not what you want to hear. It turns out that the human trafficking case against him is a very, very weak case. In fact, the prosecutor in Tennessee, the U.S. Attorney's Office, resigned instead of bringing the case because he didn't think there was a there and he didn't want his name attached to it. We got to make sure in moving fast, we're not making mistakes, because that will turn sympathetic voters against the president on this. His team needs to do a really good and robust job protecting the president's reputation here. They've got to get it right, or the media is going to have an absolute field day on all of this. Now, a group that consistently gets it right is Vision Computer. When you call them to buy a computer from Vision Computers, if you're building a new computer, they would absolutely love to do business with you, because they'll build your computer. They'll work with you on your computer, not a generic computer, not a one-size-fits-all computer, but your computer. You build a computer with Vision Computers, and not only that, you're going to get the world-class technical service. Look on Google. Just Google Vision Computers, and you'll see the thousands of five-star reviews they get. My family, we would put one up there for them, a five-star review, because we love building my son's computer with them. They spent time with him. What games does he play? What does he want to do? He's going to college in a couple years. He wants a computer that's upgradable to be able to take to school with him. and he's had a great time, and their customer service is fantastic. My son can call them anytime, day or night, and get an answer, and you can too. And listen, if your business, you don't need new computers, but you can't afford an in-house IT guy, for $199 a year per computer, they'll be your in-house IT support for your company. So every member of your team gets the phone number. They can call 15 seconds or less, get the answer. So your employees are really good at their job. They don't have to be good at their computer. Vision can do that for them. Call them at 404-COMPUTER. Go to visioncomputers.com. 404-COMPUTE or visioncomputers.com. Tell them Eric sent you. You're going to save even more money. visioncomputers.com.
The U.S. is investing up to $1 billion to fight the spread of bird flu.
At the top and bottom of every hour.
Traffic congestion around Metro Atlanta continues to cost commuters.
And when it breaks.
The suspect is in critical condition, being struck multiple times.
Check back 3, 4, 5 times a day for the latest.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station. Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Ben Hill Renovation. This just in, UPS plans to offer for the first time voluntary buyouts to drivers. This as the Sandy Springs company looks to cut 20,000 jobs and shut down 73 facilities in a major restructuring. Your weather for today, sunny, low humidity, and a high of 91, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Happening right now, Democrats doing all they can to stall a vote in the House of the president's so-called big beautiful bill. On the floor of the House, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries setting a new record now for the longest House speech as he delays the vote on Trump's tax bill by more than 8 hours.
I'm here to take my sweet time on behalf of the American people.
House rules gives unlimited time to leaders to speak, the so-called magic minute ahead of a final vote on a bill. That vote expected today. President Trump has said that he wanted that spending bill on his desk before July 4th. That is tomorrow. In a bizarre turn of events, Marietta police say an alleged shoplifting victims are now robbery suspects. Police say the owner of a liquor store on Franklin Gateway and a friend held a man at gunpoint after reporting that he had shoplifted from their store. The two took turns searching the man's car. They now face a number of charges, including aggravated assault, armed robbery, and kidnapping. It's 1:32.
A DUI conviction could cost you your career, threaten your way of life, and even compromise your future job prospects. Hey, it's Eric Von Hessler. With all this on the line, trust only the best. George Stein, the DUI lawyer. Go to georgestein.com.
If you're ready for real European car lovers to work on your Porsche, Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Audi, discover Wolfpan European Auto Repair in Roswell. And for a limited time, get a free second opinion on repairs when you mention you heard about Wolfpan on the radio. Search Wolfpan Auto Repair to get started.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
Well, I bet it is safe to say you are sick and tired of home services companies that don't show up on time, don't get it right, ghost you then when you need them later. Hey, it's Chris Chandler. I don't have to worry about any of that because I only trust TE Certified Electrical Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. TE Certified is a well-oiled machine with the highest level of communication and follow-up. They're on time, friendly, and fully stocked.
TE Certified, we love your home.
All right, live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams, they said it was going to get busy. Are they right?
They are correct. Spot on, Sabrina. It is busy out there, and we do have a few trouble spots. Crash just cleared 285 northbound, the outer loop at Covington Highway, but still slow back at Flat Shoals. Now a center lane stall, I-20 westbound before Wesley Chapel Road exit 68. Those brake lights start back at the Mall of Stonecrest. Just found a new stall in the center lane in Marietta, 75 northbound at the South 120 loop exit 263. That's why you're seeing those brake lights start to fill in back toward 285, and it's it's a slow ride through downtown. Brake lights start southbound at the 85-400 merge. 75-85 northbound, that's it. That as well is filling in from Langford Parkway up past Freedom Parkway. And on the south side, 75 north and south, on and off the brakes with that holiday travel between Stockbridge and Locust Grove. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Mostly sunny today with low humidity, high 91, lows tonight in the upper 60s to low 70s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, staying dry, high 93. Saturday, sunny skies, morning lows in the low 70s, daytime high 92.
It is 85 degrees in Beaufort, 87 in Roswell. Here in Midtown Atlanta, we have 88 degrees. More news at 2 o'clock, breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
It's WSB's $1,000 Thursday. Your chance to win $1,000 every hour today until 4 p.m. The 1 o'clock keyword is July. That's July, July. Go to WSBradio.com or the WSB Radio app and enter the keyword July for your chance to win. You have until 1:59 to enter. Good luck. It's Conversationalists. Yes, it is Eric Erickson. Yes, I am here. And I gotta just say that I need to just paint a picture for you here. I'm here. My board op is somewhere at the beach. My producer is somewhere in Montana. My digital director is somewhere at home asleep because his wife just had a baby. Everybody's gone. But Vincent is here with me, and man, I got to give you a lot of thanks for being here today and working just here through the week. So thank you very much, as everybody has abandoned us, and I'm about to abandon you and take my kids away for the 4th of July. We will be running a best of show tomorrow instead of having a guest host. So in any event, though, Vincent, thanks very much for being here with me. There's a story in the Wall Street Journal. I want to highlight this because I want to focus on this, and again, don't be defensive about this. Just accept I'm telling you the truth here, that there are focus groups on the Republican side being conducted on behalf of the Republicans showing there are concerns about how immigration is playing out, particularly in the Hispanic community. There is a growing alarm within the Hispanic community about some of the deportations that could be happening. There is a fear growing, and it would behoove the president and the Republican leaders to calm them down and really insist they're focusing on criminals and gangbangers and not make mistakes. And there's a great pivot to that in the Wall Street Journal today. Jimmy Soni has some commentary. Let me just read you part of this. Something is missing from the national conversation about immigration. The story of those who came here the long way through the front door, forms in hand, hope in heart. I am one of those people. My parents, born in India, brought me to America from France when I was 4. What followed were years of patient waiting and the quiet accumulation of documents to prove our worthiness to belong. First came visa applications. Then the green card paperwork for permanent residency. The forms arrived by mail, precious documents that we couldn't afford to miss. At one point, my father asked my mother to stay behind in Michigan for a month while he began a new job in Illinois in case immigration papers arrived at our old address. Such was the careful choreography of legal immigration. Family life arranged around envelope delivery. My parents saved for the filing fees and studied hard for the citizenship test. They learned the founding fathers' names and Revolutionary War dates, memorized the Constitution's promises and the Bill of Rights protections. They did this so that my brother and I could dream American dreams without looking over our shoulders. Their deliberate choice of America bred in me a deep love of this country. Those born here inherit America as they inherit eye color. Those who choose America know what they have gained. I also know the alternative. The countries we might have wound up in with their narrower horizons and limited possibilities. When July 4th comes around, my gratitude differs from that of my native-born neighbors. Their celebration is inheritance. Mine is Thanksgiving. Coming to America changed the trajectory for my whole family, now including my 10-year-old daughter. She is a third-generation American, belonging here as naturally as she breathes, knowing only this country is home. I hope to teach her that this is a gift, that her easy belonging rests on her grandparents' anxious years of waiting. This story has been lost in our immigration debates. When we discuss border security and enforcement, we often overlook the millions who came here legally, adhered to every rule, earned their place. We aren't the problem being debated. We are the solution that worked. Yet our voices are strangely absent. Perhaps it's because our story lacked drama. No dangerous river crossings or tearful separations. Our immigration story is one of paperwork and patience, tests taken and fees paid. It is bureaucratic rather than cinematic, but it is no less American for being ordinary. The legal immigrant's patriotism is earned patriotism. It comes not from birth but from work, nurtured by gratitude for opportunities provided and freedoms protected. It is deepened by the knowledge of what might have been and sharpened by the memory of what was left behind. Those who choose America strengthen it. In our debate over who belongs, let's remember those who prove their belonging through patience, perseverance, and a profound love for this country. This is our home, not by accident, but by choice. This is, again, from the Wall Street Journal. This is Jimmy Soni. He is the author of The Founders, the story of PayPal and the entrepreneurs who shaped Silicon Valley. He's an American citizen, naturalized American citizen. His daughter, born in this country, is an American by birth. This is the story Republicans need to tell. We have created a convoluted process for people who wish to become American citizens, who contribute to the strength of the United States, who are here, who share our values, who have assimilated into this country. I dare say Republican hostility to immigration would be different than it is today had the Democrats not championed and the progressive left not championed the salad bowl instead of the melting pot. We've talked about this before. For years and years and years of this country, our country was a melting pot. Most of you listening to me right now eat pizza or spaghetti that came from the Italians. Probably most of you celebrate Taco Tuesday, or at least tacos. I've told you before, I don't mean to offend people with this. I'm shocked by the people who sometimes get offended by this, but I'm still a picky eater. Y'all think I'm a foodie. I'm not. I'm still a picky eater. I like what I like. But when I was a kid, I was a really picky eater. In fact, my mom would tell you, I think my mom is listening right now. My mom would tell you that it frustrated her to no end when I was a kid that I was so picky. She finally made me cook for her. And I'm talking like step stool. This was before we moved to Dubai. So I was 5 and I'm in the kitchen learning to read by reading a cookbook because my mother was so frustrated with me being a picky eater. I literally would eat. I can remember I would eat uncooked spaghetti noodles and hot dogs and hamburgers, and that was about it. There was not a whole lot that I liked as a kid. I was cursed with a kid pickier than me. I tell you, God's got a sense of humor. My mother, God bless my mother. My mother, I developed my love of cooking because my mother made me cook. She finally got so frustrated with the stuff that she cooked I wouldn't eat that she made me cook. And I learned to read by reading cookbooks because of my mother's frustration. I am the man I am today because my mother got frustrated feeding me. I love my mom. It's just literally, my poor mother. I'm surprised she allows me in the house these days because I frustrated her so much being a picky eater as a kid. And my parents, and again, this is what offends people, and I don't mean to offend you, and I'm sorry if you're offended, but it's a true story. My parents got me to eat a taco by convincing me it was how Mexicans ate hamburgers. But the taco has become a quintessential part of the American meal. Now, how did I eat tacos as a kid? It was unseasoned hamburger meat in a hard taco shell with ketchup on top. But I ate tacos. I love tacos. And we had this melting pot in this country where our food preferences would blend. It's like the British Empire. The British have the worst cuisine within the British Empire. The Indians have the best. My gosh, a good curry is phenomenal. And you know, I eat curry. I eat gumbo. I'm from Louisiana. Red beans and rice on Mondays. God bless my wife. To respect my family's traditions, on Monday we have red beans and rice. It's my mom's recipe, which is actually a way easier recipe than other recipes, and it's actually the best recipe, I think. Which I guess I need to put it out again. I put it out before. It's an easy recipe, and I love it. My wife loves my mom's red beans and rice recipe. We eat it almost every Monday. Although we can't really put the cayenne in it now because of my wife's chemo. It makes her very sensitive to spice. But an amalgamated food. And the left came along and says, no. We need a salad bowl where every tradition keeps its unique shape. There's no assimilation into Americanness. Everything keeps its shape. The salad bowl, the lettuce is the lettuce. The olive is the olive. The tomato is the tomato. The cucumber is the cucumber. In a melting pot, we all blend together into a commonness. And I do think that one of the hostilities of immigration from the right these days comes from the left deciding that we need to be a salad bowl instead of a melting pot. We need to go back to the melting pot. And the immigrants who come to this country, who love this country, want to be in the melting pot. It's the angry progressives who don't want it. And I think that's caused some of the antagonism. But we also need to get it right. We've got to get it right. When we start the sob stories out there and the media wants to do the sob stories, remember the Erickson rule of media coverage. When Democrats are in charge, they cover the beneficiaries of policies, and when Republicans are in charge, they cover the victims of policies. We on the right have to be mindful of this happening. We have to be mindful of the scenarios. We have to be mindful that we can't afford the mistakes the Democrats can make. And we have the opportunity to lock in the Hispanic Coalition for the Right by providing them freedom of opportunity in safe neighborhoods and also keeping our promises. We're going to get rid of the gangbangers and the criminals. I still say, now that the border is largely secure, we can begin to slowly change the conversation on what to do with the people who've been here for several decades. I'm opposed to giving them citizenship. But I think it's reasonable to say at this point, you know what? We're also not going to make you fear for your lives. We'll give you resident alien status. You're not going to get a citizenship. You're not going to be able to vote. You dreamers can stay here. You're not going to be deported, but you're not going to get to vote. If you're a dreamer who came here when you were young and you want to join the military and you want to serve the military, yeah, we will consider citizenship for you. And I think that's a fair compromise. But for the older people, they've been here 20, 30 years, no citizenship for you, but stop looking over your back thinking you're going to get deported. We can be humane about this. They have contributed to society. But I think it behooves us as Republicans to also now come up with a new migratory scheme so that people from Central and South America can come here, can work, can go home, can send their money home, can get out of the country, can be tracked, but they can come do the labor that Americans simply don't want to do unless the price is so high it prices us out of the ability to do it, like picking crops. There are some common sense solutions from the right to this. Along the way, though, I would tell you, we just can't be angry about it. Show compassion where you should show compassion, and show compassion to the illegal aliens. And I don't mean by saying showing compassion, let them stay. I mean, treat them like human beings and send them home. Send them home. I do think Democrats are about to overplay their hand on this alligator Alcatraz thing. If it really is the criminals, the gangbangers and the like that we're sending home, I really do think the Democrats are about to overplay their hand big on this, and it's going to be funny to watch. Folks, I got to tell you about Swiss America because they've been warning people about the secret war on cash for some time, where the government is trying to track your anonymous cash purchases and trying to steer you away from cash. And Swiss America wants to help you protect your hard-earned assets. All you got to do is call them at 800-289-2646 and get their free report, The Secret War on Cash. Swiss America has been the trusted leader in precious metals in this country for 40 years now. Get their report, The Secret War on Cash, for free. Just mention Eric when you call or text 800-289-2646. That's 800-289-2646. Mention Eric. You can text them my name, Eric, to 800-289-2646. It's ERICK. You can also go to SwissAmerica.com/Eric. That's SwissAmerica.com/ERICK. Or just call or text them. The report's completely free. It includes digital forms of currency. 800-289-2646. Message and data rates may apply.
Honest.
Putting your trust in me to tell you what's going on.
Transparent.
I need you to know this from the bottom of my heart.
Giving you the information without the noise.
My job isn't to tell you what you want to hear, it's to tell you the truth.
It's the Eric Erickson Show.
149 Cool-Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Heads up into DeKalb County, heading out of Lithonia. We've got trouble in the center lane, 20 west before Wesley Chapel Road, exit 68. You're stacked up out of Lithonia. Earlier trouble, 75 northbound at the South 120 loop, exit 263 has been moved off to the side, so good news there. And it's a slow ride through downtown, heading out of Buckhead all the way down to I-20. Northbound delays Langford Parkway up past Freedom Parkway. Traffic brought to you by Sam's Club. Ready for some locked-in summer value at Sam's Club until July 22nd. Prices are held on over 1,000 items, including summer must-haves like ice cream. Sign up for a membership and join at samsclub.com/join. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
It's WSB's $1,000 Thursday. Your chance to win $1,000 every hour today until 4 p.m. The 1 o'clock keyword is July. That's July, July. Go to WSBradio.com or the WSB Radio app and enter the keyword July for your chance to win. You have until 1:59 to enter. Good luck.
Hi, this is Megan, your friend and jeweler from Shane Company. Did you know not all warranties are created equal? At Shane Company, our free lifetime warranty is all-inclusive and even protects the diamond in your engagement ring. We can offer such an incredible warranty because our rings are crafted to last a lifetime. As your friend and jeweler, our gift to you is peace of mind. At Shane Company, we also cover unlimited repairs, resizings, and cleanings for free for life, saving you thousands over time. Because a friend always has your back. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix that's guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
You can save big on 12 packs of Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or Canada Dry. Select varieties or buy 2, get 3 free with your card. Limit 10. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Hey, if you got weekend plans, make sure your home is ready for them. I called Wise Guys Pro Wash and boom, the house, driveway, and patio were spotless. They even cleaned the roof. I didn't even have to be home. They are truly professionals using the top equipment in the industry, and their soft washing kept my home safe and damage-free, and the results, incredible. Wise Guys has more than 2,000 5-star reviews, and I know why now. So mention me, Chris Chandler, for $70 off your next service. Book today at wiseguysprowash.com.
You've worked hard to make your home energy efficient, but did you think about your garage door? It's the largest opening in your house. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of all Four Seasons Garage and Entry Doors. This summer, save money on your energy bills and replace your old door with a beautiful, energy-efficient garage door. We offer affordable prices on a huge selection of styles, colors, and custom features. When trust matters, trust us. All the number 4 seasonsgarages.com.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
You've been needing a new roof to battle the elements. If you replace your roof this month, you'll be helping battle childhood cancer too. Hi, it's Dave Baker, host of the Home Fixin' Show for my friends at Findlay Roofing, the roof guys. The only thing they like better than protecting your home from the elements is giving back to the community. And once again, Findlay Roofing is proud to support the WSB Care-a-thon, benefiting the Aflac Cancer and Blood Disorder Center of Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. Findlay will donate $100 from every roof replacement sold between now and July 25th. Findlay guarantees a donation of at least $10,000. With Findlay, manners matter. They treat your home like it's their own, but they don't stop there. They treat the entire community like family. When children are battling cancer, Findlay is there because we all live under one roof. The community. Get started now. Schedule your free roof analysis at FindlayRoofing.com.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Not agree with him, but he tells you the truth. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
Guys, I did something. So when we come back, I actually want to talk about the 4th of July. Since I'm going to be off tomorrow, I want to do it today. But I gotta read you part of what I wrote today. If you text data to 33777, you can sign up for my show notes. But this is a section. I put this on Twitter. There is one overwhelming, compelling reason to support Mr. Trump, and it affected my thinking in 2024 more than anything else. Ironically, I talked about it and wrote about it the least, in large part because it's not a substantive reason to vote for Mr. Trump, but it's my personal reason that I supported him over Kamala Harris. Next year will be the 250th birthday of the United States of America. Were Ms. Harris the president next year and progressives in charge, we would be forced to hear sob stories of the founding white slave owners while being forced to celebrate the transgender amputee midget people of color whose sacrifices made victory possible. Instead of praise for Jefferson, Washington, Madison, Hamilton, Adams, and Franklin, we'd all have to sit through insufferable lectures about the non-Jewish people of color and lesbians who built the country and how white people ruined it all. Every one of you knows this is true. Good Lord, the meltdown. Wow, let me read you some of the Twitter comments. So what? They don't get to share in our history? It's as much their country as anyone else's out there. Every single African American has roots in the country exponentially longer than Trump, Elon, Ivana, or Melania. Stop with the white supremacy dog whistling. Midgets? You can't say that. Spare me. You supported a dude who tried without morose to prevent the peaceful transition of power. Justify it however you want. Christian right. Loser. Good grief. So you voted for him because he was white. White people did ruin this country. This is dumber than even the Trump cult reasons for supporting him. You are an extremely unserious person. This may be the worst reason I have ever heard to support Trump. You're a weird, hateful dude. I voted for the fascists because of things I just made up. Thank goodness your fragile ego doesn't have to hear that now. Nothing worse than to feel uncomfortable. It is absolutely hilarious. I mean, a left-wing meltdown over this. Again, here's what I wrote, and you all know I'm right. Next year will be the 250th anniversary of the birthday of the United States of America. Were Ms. Harris the president next year and progressives in charge, we'd be forced to hear sob stories of the founding white slave owners while being forced to celebrate the transgender amputee midget people of color whose sacrifices made victory possible. Instead of praise for Jefferson, Washington, Madison, Hamilton, Adams, and Franklin, we'd have to sit through insufferable lectures about the non-Jewish people of color and lesbians who built the country and how white people ruined it all. We're going to get into this when we come back, because I think we've got to just remember what happened. And by the way, this goes to the larger piece that I wrote this morning, where I'll read you my concluding piece. The Declaration of Independence was the mission statement of the American Republic, and the Constitution that followed was the legal framework protecting the intent of the mission. A group of very flawed men with a vision greater than themselves, with buy-in from the lower classes to the upper classes of society, pledged their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor to this righteous cause. We should be glad, proud, and unashamed. We should recognize their heroism and courage, not distract ourselves with lesser people and lesser things. The men were flawed, complicated, bold, and brave revolutionaries. Their cause, now our cause, remains righteous, and it does. And we shouldn't have to focus on the fringes of society to focus on these men were deeply flawed, but they did a great thing, and the world is better off because of what they did. More on that when we come back.
Summer is peak hosting season, right? Don't let a grimy house keep you from having company over. It's Chris Chandler, and Wise Guys Pro Wash got my place clean and bright and guest ready in just one day. They handled everything, house and deck, driveway, even my dirty roof, and their soft wash kept everything safe. No paint peel, no damage, just clean. If you got people coming over this summer, be sure Wise Guys Pro Wash comes by first. Mention me, Chris Chandler, for $70 off at wiseguysprowash.com. Book now before they fill up.
I know you're hot, but how is summer treating your home? Dave Baker, host of the Home Fix-It Show, here for AquaGuard Foundation Solutions. Have you noticed drywall cracks, stuck windows and doors, or bowed walls? AquaGuard knows that all these signs point to possible major damage in your foundation, and they will only get worse over time. But don't worry, AquaGuard will identify your issues and repair them. Simply go to aquaguard.net now and set up a free inspection. There's a reason they're the trusted local experts. Remember, AquaGuard.
If you have the WSB radio app.
If you have the WSB
All
app.
the notifications you
If
need.
you have the WSB app.
All the local and breaking news alerts you need.
Breaking news in Cobb County.
All in one place.
We'll send out an alert on the WSB app.
The 95.5 WSB app.
Download it from your app store today.
News.
Weather.
Traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 2 o'clock, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top local story, drive sober or get pulled over. Officers will be out in force this weekend looking for drivers breaking the law.
Georgia State Patrol and local law enforcement will be looking to save lives and prevent crashes by targeting reckless drivers this 4th of July weekend. The Drive Sober campaign begins tonight and runs through Sunday.
We need them to slow down. We need them to not be distracted. We need them to wear their seatbelt, and we definitely don't want them out there impaired.
Maurice Raines, Deputy Director in the Governor's Office of Highway Safety, tells WSB law enforcement will have zero tolerance for breaking the law on roadways this weekend. Daphne Young, 95.5 WSB.
89 degrees in Atlanta. Any rain chances heading into the holiday weekend? Meteorologist Christina Edwards has Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up. Georgia looks to clean up its voter rolls ahead of the next election.
Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger announcing a multi-phase audit of Georgia's voter rolls.
Well, the first thing would be actually doing a mailing, sending these out to people. We are wanting to verify that they still live at the location. So there hasn't been activity there for a while, so we're making sure that they still actually do live at the residence there.
He says they'll be using a new verification tool to audit the accuracy of residential addresses. The audit is expected to take about 3 months to complete. Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
A vote on President Trump's big, beautiful bill is expected soon after Congressman Hakeem Jeffries sets the record for the longest House speech. The 8-hour speech was a stall tactic. He started speaking around 5 a.m. and just finished, taking advantage of the unlimited speaking time allotted to party leaders. The bill is expected to pass. With several big events in Atlanta this weekend, Atlanta police officers are working 12-hour shifts.
This allows us to have more officers present. We still have to maintain our calls for service. We still have to support the city during these events.
Atlanta Police Deputy Chief Kelly Collier says people should have fun but be on the lookout for anything suspicious. For the first time ever, Sandy Springs-based UPS plans to offer buyouts to its drivers. The delivery giant says drivers would receive a generous financial package if they decide to leave the company, in addition to any earned retirement benefits. UPS is not saying how many employees would be offered the package. The Teamsters is strongly opposed to the buyout offer. UPS previously announced plans to cut tens of thousands of management and other jobs. U.S. employers had 147,000 jobs in June. That's more than what was expected as the labor market shows resilience despite uncertainty over the economy. The unemployment rate falls to 4.1%. It's now 2:02. This news is sponsored by Brett Beckers. Up next, live team coverage of traffic and weather.
Hey guys, you looking for a simple solution to hair loss this summer? We'll get Advanced Hair's breakthrough one-day treatment during their once-yearly summer savings event. It's Mark Aaron back with you. Check this out. Your own natural hair begins to regrow the very next day, and Advanced Hair guarantees it will grow. Take advantage of your flexible summer calendar and get the most hair for your dollar during Advanced Hair's best offer ever. For details and free consultations, call 470-660-HAIR or online at advancedhair.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. When we place our loved ones in a nursing home, we expect them to receive the best care. We meet with families who learn that their mothers and fathers, grandmothers and grandfathers have been terribly abused in nursing homes. Bed sores, malnutrition, broken bones, dehydration, and yes, even death. If you believe that a loved one has been abused or neglected while living in a nursing home, call us. The consultation is free.
Morgan & Morgan Atlanta, 191 Peachtree, Atlanta, Georgia. Dow Pound Law. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
Trust is not just a word, it's an experience. When your home needs service, you can trust TE certified electrical, plumbing, heating, and cooling. Hey, it's Chris Chandler. TE is the company I trust to fix any problem once and for all. Their 5-star customer experience means easy online scheduling, friendly technicians, and a lifetime workmanship warranty, so I can just sit back and relax.
TE certified. We love your home.
Find summer's sweetest sales at Whole Foods Market. Save 50% on ice cream and frozen desserts with Prime through July 15th. Get your perfect scoop of decadent chocolate swirl, fruity flavors, and more. While supplies last, shop in-store or online. Terms apply.
At Butler Lexus of South Atlanta, they just don't sell cars. They set the standard of amazing. Enjoy personalized service at Starbucks Cafe and airport parking concierge because you deserve more than just a car. Visit ButlerLexusSouthAtlanta.com or call 800-NEW-LEXUS today because they value you.
It is 2:04, time for live team coverage of traffic and weather in the 24-hour traffic center on this getaway day. It's Alex Williams.
A busy one at that, Bill. Good afternoon. We're already seeing a full house very early on a Thursday afternoon. It's because of the holiday. You're jammed up heading into downtown, southbound from the 85-400 merge. 75 slows around Northside Howell Mill for the ride down toward I-20. Northbound stacked and packed from Langford Parkway up into Midtown. Crash almost in the HOV lane next to the Varsity before you get to 10th Street. And very slow into Cab. I-20 westbound. It's all due to a stall in the center lane before Wesley Chapel. It's got you stacked up back from the mall at Stonecrest. And if you're traveling 75 northbound up toward Kennesaw or Ackworth, you're on and off the brakes from Marietta, North Marietta Parkway, up toward Highway 92, exit number 277. Don't forget Lennox Road shut down in Buckhead for the Peachtree Road Race. Just a portion right now. It's between Lennox Road and Lennox Parkway. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Mostly sunny this afternoon, high 91, lows tonight in the upper 60s to low 70s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, high 93. Saturday, sunshine continues with morning lows in the low 70s, daytime high 92.
90 in Alpharetta, 89 in Fairburn, and 88 in Sugar Hill. More news at 2:30, breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
It's WSB's $1,000 Thursday. Your chance to win $1,000 every hour today until 4 p.m. The 2 o'clock keyword is sun. That's sun, spelled S-U-N. Go to WSBradio.com or the WSB Radio app and enter the keyword sun for your chance to win. You have until 2:59 to enter. Good luck. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome. It is the Eric Erickson Show. Before I go to anything else, I do wish to wish you all a happy Independence Day. It's freedom is one generation away from being lost. It's a republic if we can keep it. There are so many famous lines. But I want to go to the most famous lines here right now to start. Before I do anything else, let's do this. In Congress, July 4th, 1776, the unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America. When in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence, indeed, will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. And when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies, and such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. The history of the present King of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states. To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world. He has refused his assent to laws the most wholesome and necessary for the public good. He has forbidden his governors to pass laws of immediate and pressing importance unless suspended in their operation till his assent should be obtained, and when so suspended he has utterly neglected to attend to them. He has refused to pass other laws for the accommodation of large districts of people unless those people would relinquish the right of representation in the legislature, a right inestimable to them and formidable to tyrants only. He has called together legislative bodies at places unusual, uncomfortable, and distant from the depository of their public record for the sole purpose of fatiguing them into compliance with his measures. He has dissolved representative houses repeatedly for opposing with manly firmness his invasion on the rights of the people. He has refused for a long time after such dissolutions to cause others to be elected, whereby the legislative powers, incapable of annihilation, have returned to the people at large for their exercise, the state remaining in the meantime exposed to all the dangers of invasion from without and convulsions within. He has endeavored to prevent the population of these states, for that purpose obstructing the laws of naturalization of foreigners, refusing to pass others to encourage their migration hither, and raising the conditions of new appropriations of laws. He has obstructed the administration of justice by refusing his assent to laws for establishing judiciary powers. He has made judges dependent on his will alone for the tenure of their offices and the amount and payment of their salaries. He has erected a multitude of new offices and sent hither swarms of officers to harass our people and eat out their substance. He has kept among us in times of peace standing armies without consent of our legislatures. He has affected to render the military independent of and superior to the civil power. He has combined with others to subject us to a jurisdiction foreign to our Constitution and unacknowledged by our laws, giving his assent to their acts of pretend legislation. For quartering large bodies of armed soldiers among us. For protecting them by mock trial from punishment for any murders which they should commit on inhabitants of these states. He has, for cutting off our trade with all parts of the world, for imposing taxes on us without our consent, for depriving us in many cases of the benefits of trial by jury, for transporting us beyond the seas to be tried for pretended offenses, for abolishing the free system of English laws in a neighboring province, establishing therein an arbitrary government and enlarging its boundaries so as to render it at once an example and fit instrument for introducing the same absolute rule into these colonies. For taking away our charters, abolishing our most valuable laws, and altering fundamentally the forms of our government, for suspending our own legislatures and declaring themselves invested with power to legislate for us in all cases whatsoever. He has abdicated government here by declaring us out of his protection and waging war against us. He has plundered our seas, ravaged our coasts, burnt our towns, and destroyed the lives of our people. He is at this time transporting large armies of foreign mercenaries to complete the works of death, desolation, and tyranny already begun with circumstances of cruelty and perfidy scarcely paralleled in the most barbarous ages and totally unworthy the head of a civilized nation. He has constrained our fellow citizens taken captive on the high seas to bear arms against their country, to become the executioners of their friends and brethren, or to fall themselves by their hands. He has excited domestic insurrections amongst us and has endeavored to bring on the inhabitants of our frontiers the merciless Indian savages, whose known rule of warfare is as undistinguished destruction of all ages, sexes, and conditions. In every stage of these oppressions, we have petitioned for redress in the most humble terms. Our repeated petitions have been answered only by repeated injury. A prince whose character is thus marked by every act which may define a tyrant is unfit to be the ruler of a free people. Nor have we been wanting in attentions to our British brethren. We have warned them from time to time of attempts by their legislature to extend an unwarrantable jurisdiction over us. We have reminded them of the circumstances of our immigration and settlement here. We have appealed to their native justice and magnanimity, and we have conjured them by the ties of our common kindred to disavow these usurpations, which would inevitably interrupt our connections and correspondence. They, too, have been deaf to the voice of justice and of consanguinity. We must, therefore, acquiesce in the necessity which denounces our separation and hold them as we hold the rest of mankind, enemies in war, in peace, friends. We, therefore, the representatives of the United States of America, in General Congress assembled, appealing to the Supreme Judge of the world for the rectitude of our intentions, do, in the name and by the authority of the good people of these colonies, solemnly publish and declare that these united colonies are and of right ought to be free and independent states, that they are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown, and that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain is and ought to be totally dissolved, and that as free and independent states they have full power to levy war, conclude peace, contract alliances, establish commerce, and to do all other acts and things which independent states may of right do. And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. Signed July 4th, 1776. The Declaration of Independence has been called the mission statement of the United States. Clarence Thomas, the justice on the Supreme Court, has argued that one cannot read the Constitution without first reading the Declaration of Independence, and one cannot interpret the Constitution without first appreciating that it is the framework through which the mission statement takes effect. He's right. He has been very persuasive in this. There has been a mythology about our founders. We should be realists, not into mythology here. Some of them were hunted. Well, all of them were hunted. Not all of them were dead, killed. Many of them actually went on to become founders of the American Republic after the Revolution. Some lost their sons. Many did lose their homes and property. Some were destitute. Many gave all so that the nation could be. They made real sacrifices. And here is the thing I wish you to appreciate more than anything else about this and the founders. There's a lot of bravado these days on the left, but also on the right. We're in a civil war. Some of you believe it. Things are the worst they've ever been. This is so unjust, uncalled for, inappropriate. This cannot be. The powers of government have gotten too big, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We're going to have a fight. Whatever. There's hysteria on both sides, and you have to understand that what's happening with a lot of this is it's an online echo chamber on both sides, working each other into a frenzy of lemons. The lemmings, they're all going to go off the cliff together on the left and the right. Here's the thing. These men pledge their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor. Some of them would lose it all. Some of them would lose their families. Some of them would lose their fortunes. Some of them would lose their lives. They were all hunted men. They were actually really fighting for something in which they could die. They could be hanged. These protesters in the streets of Los Angeles, they're not going to be hanged as traitors. Some of you think they should. They're not going to be. They shouldn't be. Some people on the right with their bravado when Joe Biden was president or Barack Obama, we got to stand and fight, stand and fight. You went out and protested. You didn't have to pledge your life, your fortune, or your sacred honor. there's this mythology. We like to make mythologies about the martyrs of a cause. These men were willing to be martyrs of a cause. They were willing to die for a very simple concept. Their grandfathers considered themselves Englishmen, and King George III and the Parliament in Great Britain refused to recognize them as Englishmen, but as colonists, something of a inferior class of people. And they said, no, we're Englishmen. We want the rights that our grandfathers were promised in the Glorious Revolution, and that's why we're fighting. It was a very conservative revolution.
Have something to say? Hello. Call the show. 1-877-97-ERIC. That's 1-877-973-7425.
219 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Better news in DeKalb County. Traffic Trooper Sean tells us that stall has cleared out of the center lane, 20 westbound before Wesley Chapel, but still a rough ride trying to make your way through Lithonia. Downtown, 75-85 northbound. It's a bumper-to-bumper battle from Highway 166, Langford Parkway up into Midtown. Crash partially in the HOV lane, adjacent to the Varsity before 10th Street. Southbound delay started the 85-400 merge. Heaviest part of that's going to be getting down past William Street. Traffic brought to you by Whole Foods Market. Shop sweet savings at Whole Foods Market. Get organic red cherries for $4.49 per pound with Prime through July 18th while supplies last. Shop in store or online. Terms apply. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
It's WSB's $1,000 Thursday. Your chance to win $1,000 every hour today until 4 p.m. The 2 o'clock keyword is sun. That's sun, spelled S-U-N. Go to WSBradio.com or the WSB Radio app and enter the keyword sun for your chance to win. You have until 2:59 to enter. Good luck.
Is that knee, hip, or shoulder pain just not getting any better? Are you stuck in a cycle of steroid shots and now they're talking surgery? Before you go down that road, hit pause for a second. Hey, it's Mark Airman. I want to tell you about something that helped a lot of people get their lives back without more meds and without going under the knife. It's QC Kinetics, leaders in regenerative medicine using treatments like advanced cellular therapy and platelet-rich plasma, all designed to actually help your body heal itself. No more masking the pain. This goes right to the root of the problem. Their cellular treatments contain growth factors and healing properties to maximize your own body's ability to heal itself. And this is critical. 92% of patients report satisfaction with the results. That's not just a number. It's peace of mind that you're exploring something that's truly working for people just like you. Real results that let you move easier and live better. Call QC Kinetics today, 770-285-8026. That's 770-285-8026.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix that's guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Right now, save on USDA Choice boneless New York strip steaks. Just $10.99 a pound in the family pack with your digital coupon. Limit 5. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
It's still the greatest form of advertising, word of mouth. If we could bottle it and sell it, we'd be rich. But we can't. That's what keeps it honest. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons. From garage doors to entry doors to windows, for every opening of your home, we've got you covered. Talk to your neighbors. Chances are we've worked on their home. They'll tell you all about their 5-star experience with All Four Seasons. When trust matters, trust us. All, the number 4, seasonsgarages.com.
Summer is here, so if you're thinking about selling your home, now is the time. With Mark Spain Real Estate's guaranteed offer, you can sell your home quickly and for maximum value. Hi, it's Chris Chandler. You can skip all the hassles of a traditional home sale and sell your home quickly without the stress of showings, open houses, or costly repairs. Mark Spain Real Estate's guaranteed all-cash offer allows you to sell your home in as little as 21 days and move when you're ready. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing.
More local news.
An employee at a Walmart in Covington is in custody. Atlanta companies already warning of turbulence in the economy.
More traffic.
One crash on I-20 westbound.
40 minutes to head up the connector.
More weather.
We may be seeing this tornado strengthening.
Atlanta's morning news.
Tomorrow morning at 5.
Newton County authorities crediting the Georgia State Patrol.
Wake up with 95.5 WSB. How Atlanta starts its day.
WSB Atlanta.
WSB-BFM and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Topical.
I feel for you if you've been working from home.
Local.
They're suing the landlord. The lawsuit filed in Cobb County Superior
Getting
Court.
you through your
It's
morning.
good stuff for this show. It's good stuff for the radio station.
Mark Arrow.
That's about all I ask.
Mark Arrow.
Tomorrow at 9 a.m.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB. WSB consumer expert Clark Howard.
It's summertime. What does that mean I want you to do? Okay, I harangue you every summer and every year after Thanksgiving to use your vacation. It's stunning how many Americans are lucky enough to have paid vacation where they work and you don't take the time off. Let me tell you something. You're a better employee for your employer if you take that time off to refresh, to enjoy yourself, and really disconnect. You don't want to get a text or an email from the boss who says, hey, I need this, that, or the other, while you're trying to decompress on vacation. Truly disconnect when you take that time off, again, so you'll be a better employee when you come back from vacation. I'm Clark Howard.
Welcome back. It is Eric Erickson. There is no call screener today with the holiday and all, giving everybody off. Charlie has gone to Montana. God bless him. I'm actually taking my kids to Las Vegas for the weekend. Never been for the 4th of July. Don't know what we're going to do. It's going to be just hot as blazes there like here. But my kids wanted to go, so we will head to the airport as soon as I am done and get on a flight for the weekend. So it should be a good time. I want to spend this hour making a few points, and I want to begin here. In the late 1700s, the United States pulled off the first successful revolution against an empire in modern history. We still have the Republic today, if we can keep it. Every few generations, there's some fretting that, oh, it's all lost and it's always the other side's fault, and oh, we're going to have a civil war again, and it scarred into our minds, and social media whips people into a frenzy and the like to amplify that angst. Our founders were willing to die for something, and their revolution is contrasted greatly with the revolution that happened a few years later in France. The French Revolution is considered a progressive revolution or a liberal revolution. The American Revolution has always, by historians, been considered a conservative revolution. Why? Take out the politics of today when I use conservative and progressive. You gotta separate from that. What historians mean by the American Revolution being a conservative revolution is that when you read the Declaration of Independence, as we just did, their argument is that they were already entitled to these rights. And they were fighting to secure the rights already won by their grandfathers. In Britain, they went through the Glorious Revolution where they chased James II off the throne, and they brought in William and Mary, and they established the English Bill of Rights. Much of our Bill of Rights reflects the English Bill of Rights, including a right to keep and bear arms, a right to trial by jury, things like that, speech and religion. We argued, our founders argued, that their grandfathers were Englishmen. They had come across the sea, but were still Englishmen. They had been loyal to the king, but the king now treated them as if they were an Englishman. And therefore, because the king treated them not as Englishmen, but as something else, and was denying them the rights of the Bill of Rights from the Glorious Revolution, they must rebel, not to do something new, but to secure what was already theirs. By contrast, the French Revolution was to throw off what they call the Ancien Regime, to throw off the monarchy. The French wanted something entirely new. They wanted new values. They wanted new ideas. They wanted new forms of governance. They weren't arguing for something old. They were arguing for something brand new. No sense of history. There was no John Locke. There wasn't deep thoughts about Montesquieu. There was Robespierre, who wanted to chop off people's heads, who himself got his head chopped off. It was a violent, gory revolution where the revolutionaries turned on themselves. You did not see that in the United States because they knew what they were fighting for. The French were in quest for something new, for some level of enlightenment, and they would know it when they got there. The Americans already knew what they were fighting for. They were fighting for what they thought was already theirs. They were fighting for an existing setup they thought they had until the British kept changing the rules on them. That's what was happening. A conservative revolution versus a progressive revolution. We're still on our first republic. The French are on their fifth, with several monarchies in between. Ours endures. Our Constitution still the oldest governing document on the planet. Our founders got it right. We should appreciate their wisdom. You can by going to ericforhillsdale.com. Don't you love this segue? ericforhillsdale.com. They've actually got a class on the founding of the American Republic and the Constitutional Convention that you can take. I highly recommend it. You know, I went to law school. In undergrad, I got degrees in political science and history. My specialty was early American governance. And then in law school, focused on con law. And I learned stuff from Hillsdale College's professors that either I'd forgotten or I didn't really appreciate when I was in college and law school. It's really good. You do it at your own pace. Every lesson is about 30 minutes. And you get a certificate of completion when you're done, which I have from Hillsdale College. It's completely free as well. You go to ericforhillsdale.com today, ERICK, ericforhillsdale.com. You sign up with Hillsdale College, and they will give you these remarkable courses. You've got 40 to choose from religion to politics to history to chemistry to math to literature. They're all really good. The early American history ones are fantastic. Eric, ERICK, ericforhillsdale.com.
When traffic
No
hits,
traffic getting through in either direction.
the Triple Team Traffic Center has you covered.
Even the bridge over 75 is being held.
Your source for Atlanta's traffic.
Traffic out of Spaghetti Junction along 285 westbound and a crash on Peachtree Boulevard 141 southbound before 285.
Brought to you by the Cool Ray Lifetime Parts and Labor Warranty.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and
At
Talk.
2:30, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top story. It's happening now. The House holding a final vote on President Trump's big, beautiful bill.
This is without a doubt the most important vote of this Congress, and I think this may be the most important vote that any of us take in our entire lifetimes. And everybody better remember it, however you vote today.
House Speaker Mike Johnson addressing lawmakers ahead of the vote, which was delayed after Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries speaks for well over 8 hours. The president hopes to sign the bill in a ceremony tomorrow. Georgia is doing a multi-phase audit of the state's voter rolls.
It's something that we have to do because there's so much dynamic movement of voters moving in and out of the state. And so this is another part of that process.
Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger says the first phase will include mailings to verify addresses. They hope to identify voters who may have moved. The annual Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over campaign begins today in Georgia for the Independence Day weekend.
Today and this weekend is a zero tolerance weekend. If you speed, you're going to get a ticket. If you're impaired, you're going to jail. You're not wearing your seatbelt, you're going to be cited for it. This is a zero tolerance weekend.
Maurice Raines, Deputy Director of the Governor's Office of Highway Safety, says over half of the fatal crashes across the state involved drivers who were not wearing their seatbelts. In a bizarre turn of events, Marietta police say alleged shoplifting victims are now robbery suspects. Police say the owner of a liquor store on Franklin Gateway and a friend held a man at gunpoint after reporting he had shoplifted from the store. The two then took turns searching the man's car. They now face a number of charges, including aggravated assault and kidnapping. It is 2:32.
Summer's a time to feel and look your best, but I'm not talking about your abs or your tan. Hey guys, it's Mark Aram here. I'm talking about your hair. Restore that bald spot, reverse your receding hairline, or add volume to thinning during Advanced Hair's once yearly summer savings event. Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day, and they guarantee your new hair will grow. There's absolutely no one in hair restoration I trust more than Advanced Hair. Take advantage of your flexible summer calendar and get the most hair for your dollar. Advanced Hair's summer sales event on for a limited time, so get the details and schedule your free consultation today. 470-660-HAIR. One-day treatment, life-changing results. With Advanced Hair, your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Check out the incredible before and afters and take advantage of their best offer ever. That's 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com. 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com.
If you've ever done a Jane Fonda workout,
Or if you remember as a kid, Rocky running the steps. And if Michael Keaton is still Mr. Mom to you, then guess what? It's officially time to do some retirement planning. It's Wes Moss from Money Matters. Weren't those the good old days? Well, with a little bit of retirement planning, there are plenty of good days ahead. Schedule an appointment with our team today at yourwealth.com. That's YOUR, yourwealth.com.
I love my home, and now I found a company that loves it as much as I do. TE Certified Electrical Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. It's Chris Chandler here. These folks have done work in my home. Boy, it didn't take long to realize I could trust their expertise, their attention to detail, and what I think you'll find, just as I did, an amazing level of service. TE Certified has more than 20,000 five-star reviews, and it's been serving Atlanta for decades.
TE Certified, we love your home.
At 2:34, Alex Williams in the traffic center.
Slow ride around Metro Atlanta if you're traveling 75 northbound heading toward the city on the south side. Brake lights find you Bill Gardner Parkway and Locust Grove. Take those up to Jodico Road. Southbound sluggish between Stockbridge and McDonough. Just cleared up some trouble in the Lithia Springs, 20 westbound past Thornton Road, exit 44. And already looking at about 23 minutes southbound heading into town from the 85-400 merge down to I-20. Northbound slows from Langford Parkway up past Freedom Parkway. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Mostly sunny today with low humidity, highs in the low 90s.
And we have breaking news just into WSB. The House has just given final passage to President Trump's big, beautiful bill. It is now 91 in Snellville, 87 in Waleska, 87 in Decatur. More news at 3 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
It's WSB's $1,000 Thursday. Your chance to win $1,000 every hour today until 4 p.m. The 2 o'clock keyword is sun. That's sun, spelled S-U-N. Go to WSBradio.com or the WSB Radio app and enter the keyword sun for your chance to win. You have until 2:59 to enter. Good luck. Welcome back. It is Eric Erickson here across the United States. I want to wish you all a fantastic Independence Day. Be safe with the fireworks out there. We had people blowing up fireworks in our neighborhood last night. And listen, I'm going to say something. Some of you are going to be offended, and I'm going to be sorry that you're offended. But I don't care about your dog. Or mine, for that matter. I love my dog. But if people want to be outside shooting fireworks for the 4th of July, that's what John Adams and our founders said. And these days we've got, but what about the soldiers with PTSD? And what about our dogs? What about the babies that are going to be kept up? You're supposed to be celebrating. Give it a rest. Stop trying to be a victim and make other people victims and your poor dog a victim. Yes, I realize dogs don't like the fireworks, but you know who does? The kids love the fireworks, and most of the soldiers do too. I'm sorry for all the hand-wringing from all the ninnies out there that, we can't shoot fireworks because somebody's going to get upset. The dog's going to bark. No, it's what you do on the 4th of July. You shoot fireworks, people. John Adams said so, and I'll be damned if I'm going to give up a tradition because of your dog or mine. I had to get that off my chest. Now, a few points to be made about the founding of the American Republic. A lot of people these days online talk a good game, but they would not actually be willing to take a bullet for what they say. They would whine and weasel their way out of it. Our founders were willing to die for the revolutionary cause. Our founders knew what it actually meant. Our founders actually cared. Our founders actually believed in something greater than themselves, and many people these days claim to and don't. The American Revolution, as I mentioned, was a conservative revolution. Their grandfathers were willing to fight and die for something they believed in. And what's wild is the 75 to 100-year increments, how close the founders were to the glorious revolution. It was their grandfather's generation. And then in many cases, they were the grandfathers or the great-grandfathers for the Civil War. and then suddenly we rise into the nation we have become. And, J.D. Vance likes to say we're not a nation of ideas, we're a nation of blood and soil, and he's right, but we are also a nation of ideals and ideas, because we are the only nation on planet Earth in the modern era that issued essentially a mission statement for this is what we are, and that's the Declaration of Independence. All men are created equal. And notice how the left has tried to twist this. It's no longer the equality of beginning, but the equality of outcome that matters. No, that's anathema to the American existence. The founders were about all men are created equal. We are born equally. The outcomes differ. And that's the thing that has made America unique, is that people can come here from other countries and rise. Let me take Mamdani, the guy who has won the Democratic nomination in New York City last week. I disagree with the man. He's a socialist. He's a communist. He's an anti-Semite. He's a whacked out far left person. But he was born in Uganda. His father immigrated to the United States. And this dude is now on the verge of becoming mayor of the most iconic American city. That's what makes America great. And the horror is that we have allowed progressives to dominate public education and the academy and to turn people against this country. So his father immigrated to this country to learn how awesome the United States was, and instead was talked into Marxism. It's the academy that's bad. It's the academics that are ruining the place, but you got to be careful because, Pol Pot murdered a lot of very smart people, as did Mao, because they were academics and they were cast in doubt. We have to reclaim and rebuild our academic institutions. We don't need bloody purges. The left wants bloody purges, not the right. We are a profoundly good country and force in the world. There are Americans who have given up hope. I get it all the time on the right. We can't do X, Y, and Z. We can't afford it. We've done too much for everyone else. When World War II was over, the Western world put us in charge of the world. They did it because they recognized something unique about the United States. And the more we become like all of them, the less unique we are, the worse it gets. We should re-embrace the uniqueness of America, the risk-taking, the chance, the opportunity, the love of other people. You go to Europe. My kids want to go to Europe. Can't do it right now. I actually need to get my show on hundreds of stations and do it right with my kids. My wife, I'm going to have to fight. Honestly, my wife, the jet service and all that, it wears your body out. If I could fly private, I would take my family to Europe one day, aspirational. Maybe I'll win the lottery. But you go to Europe. I grew up in Europe. In fact, next week on stage at the Fox Theater in Atlanta, people are going to hear a lot of stories about me wandering Europe. And you go to the big cities, they're not very friendly. They're not often very welcoming. You go to Eastern Europe, to some of those countries, they're more friendly now than they used to be as they've moved beyond communism and socialism. They're actually, particularly for Americans, they love Americans in Eastern Europe because we freed them from communism, and they recognize that many of those countries built statues of Ronald Reagan. When you talk to Europeans who come to the United States, they talk about how friendly everybody is, even in New York City. They're like, these people are amazing. You go to Texas, you go to Florida, come to Georgia. People are really welcoming. People are really friendly. It is what it means to be an American. We are unique in the world. We started a revolution that was a conservative revolution, and we have gone around the world helping others, and others want to come here. And that's the thing. And there are people on the right now and people on the left too who they can't appreciate it. They can't understand it. They've never left their homes. They haven't traveled the world and seen what it's like in other countries. And they've got a hostility to our country now because they don't know what it's like to be in other countries. They don't appreciate it. When we stop being welcoming and stop wanting to help the rest of the world, we become just like the rest of the world. This isn't to say we can afford to do everything. But I think you need to appreciate that our country in 250 years has risen from nothing to being the leader of the world because we are an inherently good nation that believes in the goodness of humanity. Even as we recognize all men are created equal in sin as well, the rest of the world is dying to be like us. The rest of the world is dying to be here. Doesn't mean we have to welcome it all. Doesn't mean we should welcome it all. But we should be mindful of the fact that no one wants to immigrate to China. The only people who do are American progressives who hate the United States. The rest of the world wants to come to the United States. They want to come here and learn. They want to come here for jobs. They want to come here to be Americans. Being an American means something. It's one of the fallout effects of the American Revolution. We mean something to the world. The world trusted us after World War II to take care of the world. We can only do so much, but the truth of the matter is that our fiscal recklessness has not been because we've been taking care of the world. It's because we've been treating ourselves too generously. People have been taking advantage of us here more than abroad. But we are a uniquely good nation, and I don't want any of you to ever forget that. We are a uniquely good nation. We are an experiment. And we're still an experiment. All these years after the revolution, we're an experiment. A republic, if we can keep it. Liberty can go away in a generation. There are generations where it appears that it is going away, and we have to reclaim and relight, spark up, add air to, blow on the flames of liberty to get it roaring again. And I think that's where it is now. But, you know, this is one of the things that there are people in MAGA who they are progressives. They kind of view the United States now as bad and bullies and overextended. And they thought Donald Trump was one of theirs. That's the fallout of the Iranian attack last week. They assumed that we could become isolationists. We could turn inward. We could rebuild the things here that they don't like. And suddenly Donald Trump is bombing Iran. He's going to NATO and he's saying, you know what, I came here because I was supposed to, and I leave recognizing these are good people. And NATO is a good organization. It is because America leads. And one of the things that came out of the NATO summit last week when the president was in Europe is that they want American leadership. Because they understand that we can do what they cannot do, not just militarily. We are a nation of constant reinvention where other people can come here, they can become Americans, and they can make themselves. Don't bet against the United States. And for those of you on the left and the right who've decided it's more important to hate the people on the other side, you're part of the problem on both sides. Love your neighbor. Love your neighbor. Our nation was not really a nation designed as a Christian nation. There are a lot of people on the right who do, and I've always, even as a kid, pushed back on that because a lot of our founders were deists. They believed in God, but kind of he set the world in motion and stepped aside. I mean, Thomas Jefferson, who wrote the Declaration of Independence, you can go to Monticello, you can read his Bible. This man had the arrogance to redact the Bible. You know how the Bible ends? Jesus died. He took out all the miracles of the Bible, including the resurrection. He believed Jesus died. He did not rise again from the dead, according to Thomas Jefferson. That's the man who wrote the Declaration of Independence, who called on the Supreme Creator. He believed in a God, but it was an abstract concept for him. It doesn't have to be for us. There's a book. Dick Cheney actually recommended this book to me. I was at the vice president's mansion having lunch with Dick Cheney when he was still vice president. Charles Krauthammer was with me. Fred Barnes was with me, a few others. And I think it was Fred Barnes, actually, who asked Dick Cheney, do you believe the United States, that there was some divine role in the creation of the United States? And Dick Cheney says, you know, I've always been skeptical of that until I read a book, 1864, Lincoln at the Gates of History. Said it was absolutely remarkable how often fortune appeared to favor the Confederacy. And at the very last minute, it's like God himself pulled the rug out from under them. And Lincoln won. Said, I never really thought about it, paid much attention to it, but you can't help but see the hand of God in this nation. 1864, Lincoln at the Gates of History. I read the book. He told me to get the book and read the book. I read the book. It is a great book. It's a biography of a year in American history, not of a man, but of a year. You cannot deny the divine in the creation of this country. And that's why it's not just a country of blood and soil. It's a country of ideas. And it's a country founded on a unique proposition that all men are created equal. They're endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, which was code for property, reflected in the English Bill of Rights. You can come here, acquire land, and make something of yourself. You can become an American, whether you are from India or Sweden, as my grandfather was, or you're born right here. But it takes a common appreciation for the founding of this country, our republic, and appreciation that we as a people, we are an inherently good people. Sinful, fallen in a fallen world, but our nation is a remarkable testament to the divine providence that brought people here together over 200 years ago and forged a nation unlike any other on planet Earth. Don't forget that. The entrepreneurs at Old Glory Bank are kind of a testament to that. If you go to my bank, oldglorybank.com/Eric, you can buy stock at Old Glory Bank. If you go to own.oldglorybank.com, you can buy stock in Old Glory Bank right now, and you can help grow the bank. They're the fastest growing bank in America, and I'm not making that up. They are my bank. Now, stock goes up and down. It's not FDIC insured. You should talk to a professional about it, but I have done it. You can too. I love these guys. They're my bank. They can be your bank. If you're a business, they can be your business checking, business savings. They can be your personal checking and savings. You do mortgages with them. Old Glory Bank was started by a group of conservatives who saw the banking trends in the country and were worried. They're entrepreneurs. They applied that American entrepreneurial spirit, and they're just fantastic pro-America conservatives. I encourage you to check them out at oldglorybank.com/Eric today. oldglorybank.com/Eric. Wonderful people. It really is my bank, y'all. I got a checking account with them. I got a savings account with them, and I love them. oldglorybank.com. It's my bank. It can be your bank. It is member FDIC, equal housing lender. Terms and conditions apply.
You're at the intersection of politics, news, culture, and current events. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
250 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. We are still watching brake lights on the south side, 75 northbound out of Locust Grove as you head up towards Stockbridge. Southbound sluggish as well as you head toward McDonough. If you're traveling 285 southbound, the inner loop into Cobb County, I'm watching the brake lights from I-85 Spaghetti Junction and Tucker down to East Ponce in the Clarkston area. 85 northbound slow up into Suwanee from Sugarloaf Parkway to 985. Traffic brought to you by Blindster.com. Blindster.com's 4th of July sale is your chance to save up to 50% site-wide on custom blinds, shades, and shutters. This deal ends July 9th. Shop Blindster.com today. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
When news breaks.
On this vote, yeas are 218, the nays are 214. The motion is adopted.
We've got it covered.
I am deeply concerned about the impact that this bill may have on Georgia.
Tune in often for the latest.
Government can finally start living within its means again.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station.
Overhead Door Company of Atlanta is hiring residential garage door technicians and installers. You can earn a hiring bonus up to $2,500. Apply today at overheaddooratlanta.com. overheaddooratlanta.com.
If you've ever done a Jane Fonda workout, or if you remember as a kid Rocky running the steps, and if Michael Keaton is still Mr. Mom to you, then guess what? It's officially time to do some retirement planning. It's Wes Moss from Money Matters. Weren't those the good old days? Well, with a little bit of retirement planning, there are plenty of good days ahead. Schedule an appointment with our team today at yourwealth.com. That's Y-O-U-R, yourwealth.com.
Summer is peak hosting season, right? Don't let a grimy house keep you from having company over. It's Chris Chandler, and Wise Guys Pro Wash got my place clean and bright and guest ready in just one day. They handle everything, house and deck, driveway, even my dirty roof, and their soft wash kept everything safe. No paint peel, no damage, just clean. If you got people coming over this summer, be sure Wise Guys Pro Wash comes by first. Mention me, Chris Chandler, for $70 off at wiseguysprowash.com. Book now before they fill up.
WSB Atlanta, WSB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-555-1509. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-555-1509. That's 800-555-1509. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-555-1509. 800-555-1509.
It's WSB's $1,000 Thursday. Your chance to win $1,000 every hour today until 4 p.m. The 2 o'clock keyword is sun. That's sun, spelled S-U-N. Go to WSBradio.com or the WSB Radio app and enter the keyword sun for your chance to win. You have until 2:59 to enter. Good luck.
Your non-stop news source, 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. When the news matters to you.
The massive project at 285 and Georgia 400 has been a big improvement.
95.5 WSB has you covered.
The latest incident comes when a SWAT team is called after a suspect.
Your 24/7 news
They
source.
had no ties to a gang.
When you need the story, all you need to do is listen. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's breaking news station.
I got a confession for you guys. I'm nervous about next Saturday. So, for those of you who don't know, I turned 50, and a buddy of mine 2 years ago, Braden, said you should rent out a venue, stand on stage, and tell all the stories that are not appropriate for radio. We're calling it the Not Safe for Radio show. There are some tickets available if you go to thefoxtheater.org. You can get some tickets. There are less than a dozen left, and we actually... we were able to make them available because some people called and said, hey, I can't come. We're like, we will gladly take your tickets and put them into the pool. Fill up the room. We got about 600, 700 people coming. And I'm going to stand on stage and tell the stories I can't tell on radio. Some of them are just too inappropriate for radio. Some with language. They're all great, but I'm actually kind of nervous about it. But, you know, I said I'll talk about as a kid being in Europe and the comparison with the United States and seeing firsthand how great this nation is. It's a week from this weekend, but I want to thank the Fox Theater because they were able to cut me a deal and all the money raised, all the tickets, I'm not getting the money. It's going to charity. It's going to my kids' school, Covenant Academy in Macon, Georgia. It's also going to Fox Cares, which is it's a nonprofit of the Fox Theater, and they provide drama and plays to schools that otherwise couldn't do it. And they also help renovate theaters. And, you know, if you go to the Fox Theater, you can become a member of the Fox Theater as well. You can support them. You can donate to Friends of the Fox. It's a remarkable organization in Metro Atlanta, and they're just wonderful people. FoxTheater.org. You can go get tickets for my event. You can get tickets for their other events. You can become a member, and I can't thank them enough for making this opportunity available to me. to stand on stage. Now, it's not the big room. I don't think I could do the 5,000 crowd. I don't think I could. But to stand on stage in the Egyptian Ballroom at the Fox Theater and share with you the stories of growing up, where I came, how I got to where I am, all of that, we're about a week away. So when I get done today, my kids are with me. We're going to go jet down to the airport. We're going to get on a plane. Nope, can't fly private yet. We're not there. I want to be one day. And we're going to go to Las Vegas. We'll land before the fireworks start. It's going to be a lot of fun. My wife, and again, it's my wife traveling through the airport and being on a commercial aviation plane. The newer planes don't dry her out as much, but just with chemo and all, it wears her out to travel. And then the heat of Vegas as well. So she's going to stay home and sleep and hang out with the dog while the kids and I are having some fun. But we're a week away. Go to the Fox Theater, get tickets. It'll be the first time my wife has been with me for an event like this, and I am looking forward to it. And I hope everybody does have a fantastic, fantastic 4th of July.
WSB consumer expert Clark Howard.
I got to tell you a crazy story. Just recently, I was riding MARTA, and several passengers